Welcome here to the India Super Series 2023. We're at Ballpark in Delhi, India, seeing Sydney Storm take on Lucknow Tigers. It's going to be the start of a terrific 6 days here in Delhi. First run for Sydney Storm. So we got for the Storm, Hijazi and Vikrant Nehru opening. All of these Storm players apply their LMS trade in Sydney, Australia. Up against the Lucknow Tigers, who have quite a few Bangladeshis in their team, I believe. Left arm over the wicket opening up. Imran Ahmed. It's an overcast morning here in Delhi. Quite a cool temperature, which will be nice for these Australian guys to get used to Indian conditions. Vikrant Nehru into the gap there. Well picked. Just first ball that he's faced here in this tournament, and he's a class player, Vikrant Nehru. Just shows that, guiding it through mid-wicket for 4. Takes the early pressure off the Australian boys. Australian guys to get used to. Lovely flick. Just moved Vikrant Nehru into the gap. Looks there. Like a really good batting pick out there. Bit first ball that in the outfield this morning, but really looks like a good wicket here. So runs to be had. Sydney Storm lost the toss. And also in the commentary box with me is Rifat. Welcome, Rifat, legend of LMS.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning, everyone who is joining from all over the world. This is the inaugural day of the Last Man Standing India Super Series 2023.
And Rifat, tell me a bit about this Lucknow side then. I hear there's a few Bangladeshis in this team.
So this Lucknow side, the team owner is from Bangladesh, Nahid Akhtar. And there are a few Bangladeshi players. So Imran Ahmed.
That's a big hit there. Nehru goes.
The catch. Oh, that's dropped at the fine leg boundary for 4 runs.
That's a big moment early on. Vikrant Nehru, one of the guns in the Sydney Storm side. Didn't quite get hold of that to backward square leg. Lucky for him. Fielder didn't really seem to pick it up, and that could be a big moment in the game there. Going through for 4. Nehru moves on to 8 off 3. End of the first over. Imran Ahmed, 9 runs from his first over. That's a big hit there. Nehru. It went high. Fielder, actually, to be fair to him, came round fairly quick. Just couldn't quite get there or keep it in. So first blood to Sydney Storm, you'd think, but that's a warning sign for the Australian players. So as Rifat says, Lucknow Tigers are owned by a Bangladeshi team owner, hence the Indian name of the team, Indian-based city, obviously, Lucknow.
Yeah, so we can see on the screen Shaikat with the 07 jersey. He was actually the man of the tournament at the recently completed Last Man Standing World Champs in Cape Town. So there's some pedigree to this team. Imran Ahmed, who bowled the first over, is a established LMS player as well. So there are a few good players from Dhaka, and it would be interesting to see the local players in this team, the Indian players.
So we'll see how impartial we can remain, Rifat, because for those of you in the know, Rifat's obviously from Bangladesh, a well-known guy, LMS globally. Then I'm involved with the Sydney competition, so be having it hard to remain impartial in this game, but we'll try our best. So Hijazi there, just with a start of the second over, poking it out to backward point. Sydney Storm move on to 10 runs off 1.1 overs.
So starting with spin for the second over, Lucknow. It's one of the local player, Kashif Anwar.
So he's an Indian player then, is he, Rifat?
Making his LMS debut today.
There, Hijazi goes for the slog sweep.
Very well fielded this time.
Just a single there for Hijazi. He seemed to stand and watch it. I wasn't sure if he was worried about it. He goes for a big swing down the ground. Doesn't get hold of that at all there, Nehru. Well, he's showing his intent early here. He's going hard early. It's the right kind of shot there, given the field placing. Runs to be had down the ground. Chops that back behind point. So it's a very solid first over here from Kashif Anwar. Just 4 runs from his first over. Sydney Storm 13 for none after 2. So 2 overs down, 13 for none. So I think both teams will be fairly happy with their start. Storm not to have lost a wicket, and Lucknow to have bounced back off that first over. That there were a couple of boundaries, one unlucky. So Hasijazi on strike. Very experienced LMS player, almost 400 innings in LMS, over 11,500 runs at an average of 48. He'll also keep and be the spin bowler if needed for the Storm side. Storm side dominated by seam bowlers rather than spin attack. There we go, Mohammed Ishaq. Oh, there we go. Look at the rip in that. Oh, interesting bowler we've got here. Flighting it up there, and then the leg break. So Ishaq comes in for his second delivery, turning it around quick. Big swing there from Nehru. Second time he's had a swing and not got hold of it. Just dabs that behind square on the offside again. Bit of a misfield, but they won't risk the second. So just a single there to get off strike. So after a good start for Sydney Storm in the first over, with 2 boundaries, they've been pegged back here a bit by Lucknow Tigers spin twins. This Mohammed Ishaq looks like an interesting bowler here, really flighting it up, interesting the batsman. Wide outside off stump, and that'll go down to extra cover. They may be able to come back for 2 here. Yep, good running from the Storm players. They'll come back for 2 easily. So 2.4 overs, 16's the score. Hard to say who's on top at the moment here. Pretty even, Stevens. Way outside off stump there. That's run away. Third man comes around. So just a single to end. Sorry. That was a wide, that one. Well wide outside off stump. So there'll be 2 runs to the Storm. Extra ball left in the over. No wides in LMS and no balls go to the batsman, hence why Vikram Nehru's score moves on to 11 there. And this last ball of a good first over from Ishaq. Goes for a big swing and got the air, couldn't get hold of that with the turn. So that's the 3rd time that Vikram Nehru's shown his intent. Got to keep his head here. He's a exceptional batsman in LMS. Sydney Storm need him to produce here. It's going to be a very high standard, this competition, and they're going to be facing a lot of spin. Most of these Sydney players, although there's quite a few club players in the side that are used to playing on turf, but most of the Sydney LMS competition is played on synthetic wickets. Nehru's got a batting average of 77 in LMS, so the strike rate of 184, so exceptional stats. So much experience in the Sydney Storm side, captained by Ziad Abess, LMS legend and the Australia LMS rep player. Again, wide outside off stump there, Kashif Anwar. Great delivery, just goes through to the keeper. Another play and miss from a Storm player. And just cuts it hard down to backward point. Just a single there though. Fielder comes round, so 3.2 overs, score moves on to 19. Kashif Anwar, very solid so far. Just 5 runs from his 7 deliveries. Anwar comes in, 3rd delivery was over, and again, big swing there from Vikram Nehru. And he's lucky there, gets the edge. That's what he needs, a bit of luck there. He's showing his intent. He knows his role here, which is to go hard early. Got lucky there. 4 down to 3rd man. Obviously LMS just 8 aside, so just 6 in the outfield. It's a smallish ground here at Ballpark. So we're going to see plenty of boundaries, I think. Those edges are going to run away. Outfield's looking pretty quick. That's to the offside. That one, backward point, goes straight to the fielder. He gets down well. So just a single there. So Hasajazi, 8 off 8. Vikram Neri, 16 off 12. Plenty of batting to come here for the Sydney Storm side, which is why these guys will probably look to go fairly hard. Having said that, Hasajazi is the man that they'll want to anchor the innings. Leave it up to the others to really swing hard. End of the 4th over, and it's good over there from Anwar. Let's see there, Vikram Nehru, exceptional batting stats. Look at that. Only 30 matches in LMS, but a batting average of 77 and a strike rate of 184. Really good young talent, 24-year-old player. He actually has some family here in Delhi. Vikram Nehru, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go fairly hard here. Plenty of batting to come in the Sydney Storm side, and he'll know it. Right the way down to even the bottom two. Batting today, Sadiq Deepak and Mick McGrath, both also very good batsmen. Big hitters in the middle, including Ziad Abbas, James Chauffeur as well, batting average of almost 100. In the middle there, Gus Sloan, very well-known LMS player. And then Brad McGrath, of course, who many of you know, a real destructive all-rounder. So with guys like Brad McGrath and Ziad Abbas in the middle order, there's plenty of big hitting to come, especially on a small ground like this. There we go. So first over for Shariful Islam Sheikh. See what he's got. So Shariful Islam coming in, right arm bowler. Oh, he skids that one through. Looks like it could be a difficult bowler to play this on Shariful. Skiddy low action. Hasajazi 10 off 12. Again, skids it through, plays it that behind backward point there. I'm just joined in the commentary box by Andrew Percy here, the Sydney Storm team manager, also the Sydney competition manager in LMS. Welcome, Andy.
Good to be here, Rob. Thank you.
So what's your take on this start so far? 31 for none after 5.2 overs. Will Storm be happy with that?
Yeah, good start. No wickets down. So the boys are fairly happy at the moment.
There we go. Another big swing there from Vikram Neri. That's the 4th time we've seen the big swing that hasn't connected. But if he gets hold of one of those, it's going to go far. Started beautifully with that clip off his legs through mid-wicket, 4 off his first ball.
He did, yeah. A few of the dots is the only downside for the boys so far. But, yeah, we're happy, reasonably happy with this start. We do bat very deep, so want to see the guys start to move along with it a little bit now.
That's the issue, right? With these dot balls, the last couple of overs now, pressure really beginning to build because the guys will know they've got that pressure. They know they've got the big hitters down the line coming behind them. So just got to keep their heads here, keep their shape, make sure they connect. Otherwise, you sense a bit of pressure building here, Andy. Look at that. It's gone right up in the air. Is that enough on it? I can't see around the edge.
That'll be 6.
So short boundaries, as we said here at ballpark. Didn't quite get hold of that Vikram Nehru, but it's gone into his teammates, and that really relieves a lot of pressure. It was an exceptional over there from Shariful Islam.
Yeah, massive pressure reliever there for the Sydney Storm.
They really needed that. If that had gone a bit further up and not as far, there would have been real pressure on Sydney Storm, but that relieves a lot of the pressure. When you look at those dot balls, previous 4 balls had only gone for 1 run, so 6 off the last ball of the over. Massive there from Nehru. Hopefully that gives him, well, from an Australian perspective, will give him some confidence to be able to really kick on. So start of the 7th over. Let's see how we go there. So still, even with that 6, that just shows, Andy, like, for that 6, we look at the last 10 balls, that's probably about, I think, 7 runs off them. So, you know, that's, at this stage, having not lost a wicket after 4 or 5 overs, be a bit disappointed with that, but they knew they needed that big hit, and it's not through a lack of an intent here from Vikram Nehru. And we don't know how, we think this looks like a good batting deck out there, but we don't know how it's going to play until both teams are batted this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the first game of the tournament here, so we don't really have a score in mind. A couple of the guys around the working on the grounds here were suggesting 160 being a good total, but today we'll have a better idea at the close of today's play.
It's another bowler bowling his first over, Mohammad Faisal Lati. Ball goes out, the covers, they'll come back for 2 there.
I think you'll see a lot of that now from Haas and Vikrant. They know that they need to pick up the run rate a little bit, given that we're no wickets down and we have such a good batting lineup here. So they'll be pushing those 1s into 2s wherever possible now. Especially
Haas, he's far more proper cricketer, plays great shots, really classical style, but he's more of the accumulator, the one that they want to anchor the innings. So he's going to have to run those 1s and turn them into 2s hard. And again, they ran the first one quickly there. And there's a misfield in the deep. That's disappointing for Lucknow Tigers. Gift Hasajazi a 2nd run there, which helped relieve the pressure off him. He now moves to a run of ball 15. So getting going a bit here. Hussey will be desperate for a boundary into the gap somewhere. Where do you think they'll be, Percy? There's a straight long off. Fine leg if he can dabble it around. There's a big open space. Or if he goes through the covers, there's a big gap between wide point and straight long off.
He is really strong on the offside, so I think that's where he'll be looking to.
Goes through. Mohammad Faisal gets that one through. Good bowling. 3 balls in his spell so far, just going for those 2 2s.
So it's a good day here for the Australia team. It's got the Brisbane Burners on straight after us. So all the Brisbane Burners boys have already turned up here and are supporting the Sydney team. We'll hang around to support the Brisbane side afterwards.
Wide outside off stump. He cuts that back. Is that between the 2? Yeah, excellent shot there. There wasn't much space to play with there because the backward point almost 3rd man's on the 45, and then you got a straight deep point out there. So there wasn't much room between the 2 of them. But he got good power behind that Huss, and that will give him a world of confidence. So you look at him this over, Andy. He's got 8 runs off the 4 balls this over. So he's moved from 11 off 13 to 19 off 17, which will do no end of good for his nerves, which everyone will have here. First time for a lot of them playing in Indian conditions. Just sensible play there. Goes hard for the first one. They won't come back for the second there. But that's a good over for Hasajazi and Sydney Storm. 9 runs off it. And it was well bowled by Mohammad Faisal also to manage to get those 9 runs there was a good result, and Sydney Storm will be feeling a lot more relaxed after that. But if I was the Lucknow team, or as I say, most of these players are Bangladeshis in their side, I'd be very happy with this position at the moment, Andy.
Yeah, I think it's evenly poised at the moment. So the run rate's not out of control. So the Lucknow Tigers will be quite happy with how they stand there, but no wickets, and we have guys in the sheds that can really accelerate quickly.
That's true, but there's only 65 balls left in the innings
Correct.
now. And if you knew the opposition, well, let's have a look here at Sharaful. He looked exceptional that first over. He's obviously got the variability as shown with that ball there. Goes deep and hard. Oh, that's poor fielding out there in the deep. I mean, opening game of a tournament in India. He's really got to try and
if you knew
stop
the
those
opposition,
there. He could have
well,
gone down. He could have slid. Just put a tentative foot out.
Over.
The bowler will be
He's
very
obviously got the
disappointed with that, I
variability
think.
as shown with that ball there.
That
goes
was a gift
deep and
out
hard.
there.
Oh,
He
that's
even
poor
slowed up
fielding.
before coming. I think he saw the other fielder coming towards him the other way, which probably distracted him a bit. But anyway, Hassan Ajazi with another boundary, another good shot. So he's really going well now, Ajazi. 24 off 19, really looking the part again now. I was just thinking, I was going to say, Percy, as we were just discussing that, the thing is, if you know this Sydney side, if we were captaining the opposition here, you'd be pretty happy at this stage to try and just keep it going as it is to avoid. Well, there we go, out deep again. That's straight to the fielder. That would just be the single. But, you know, to keep guys like Brad McGrath and Ziad Abbas away from the crease at the moment as long as possible.
Yeah, well, as you say, there's fewer balls for them to face. But you do need to set up a little bit of a platform here. So I think the guys, well, Huss has shown now he's really going after it with a couple of quick fours.
There's no pressure on these guys now. They've really set the platform and done their job beautifully to get Sydney Storm past 50 with no wicket. Look how low that one kept, and that's the first game of the day. That's interesting. It's been called a wide, which not much of a complaint from the bowler. So
no, I think that was fair.
See if that 6 from Nehru gets him going here. He goes hard again. That is a fantastic shot over extra cover. A lot of power there. Brilliant stuff. So, Vikrant Nehru there, Andy Percy. Well,
first lost ball of the day.
And I think actually with the amount that Huss has faced the last few overs,
that 6 from Nehru
now got a couple of sixes
here.
in pretty quick succession.
He goes hard again. That is a fantastic shot over extra cover.
Six he hit. So
Nehru looking the part there. That was a beautiful shot.
All the power
there. Wow. That's an interesting
brilliant
one.
stuff.
So the follow-up. Oh God, that's
so Vikrant Nehru there,
and
Andy Percy.
in batsmen.
First lost ball of the day.
Through batsmen's heads this tournament. Wow, that was that one barely went above a foot. Just clipped into the leg side there from Nehru. Sensible play just for the single.
Yeah, so now as we approach the almost 8 overs, it'll be interesting to see what the Sydney Storm do with their batting lineup. Gus Sloan's meant to come in next and probably still will. They had a bit of a floating batting lineup with Ziad Abbas, Brad McGrath and James Schofield. So I think Schofield was probably listed for 4, but Ziad and Brad as the probably guys that can really go above 200 strike rate quite quickly. Might be jumping up ahead of them in the order. But at the moment, we've got Vikrant on 34 and Huss on 25, and the Lucknow Tigers bowling well at this stage. So it's evenly poised.
Absolutely good over there for Sydney Storm. 13 runs off it. Sorry, 12 runs. And this, I feel these next 3 overs are big in this game.
That's big. It's going to go the distance.
Straight back down the ground. Wow. A few questions there. Must have been close in the end, Andy.
Yeah, it's hit right towards us, so we didn't have the best view because we're blocked a little bit by the commentary wall here, but it's gone over for a 6.
I feel these
see
next
the replay
3
here.
overs.
There we go. Look how quickly things change with 3 6
down the ground.
40 off 23. He's gone hard from the start. Real positive attitude. It's what Sydney Storm needed here.
Oh, that would have been wide, I think.
Sheik, the left arm bowling. I called it. I was calling it a few leg spins earlier because with my bad eyes, Percy, I thought he was bowling right arm. So that shows how good value your commentator is, that I can't even tell what arm he's bowling with.
So Vikrant's all of a sudden 41 off 24. So he's really accelerated now. So the Storm will be really wanting him to retire in the next, over and a half if we
Chips
can.
it down. There's just going to be the single there, you would have thought, down to a wide third man. Well fielded into the keeper. Yeah, this is the thing, Puss. This ground here is a small ground. If guys go hard and they get any sort of bat on it, it's going to be 6, and that's what everyone's got to remember. You know, when you're saying it's a 160 par field, I agree with you there, and that's pretty much what Sydney Storm are on track with at the moment, with quite a few dots. Down a fine leg. Is that going to go all the way? Square leg coming? No, it's not. Sorry, didn't quite get hold of it. They're coming back for 2. Keeper didn't take it too cleanly, but good pressure. I like that from Sydney Storm. You've got to be going for those 2s now.
Bit of a half-hearted appeal there for LBW. The umpire has indicated it's leg buys, but looks like it's just going down leg there.
So what has Vikram Nehru got? As we said, exceptional start to his LMS career. Batting average of almost 80 from his first 30 games. Just dabs it sensibly into the offside. So 42 off 26 now for Vikram. He's a young player, isn't he, Andy? Vikram, 24?
Yes. Yeah, no, very young player. So just missed out on being the under-22 player. Each team needs to have a player that's under 22. So we've got a couple of young'uns in the side with Sadeep as our under-22 player. Deepak, very good bowler, plays in Sydney with a side called Western Swingers, predominantly in LMS, and he also plays grade cricket for Randwick Petersham. And we've also got Gus Sloan, who's 25, but known to many in the LMS community. He's been around forever and's done so much already. So got a good mix of youth and a couple of elder statesmen as well.
Yeah, good mix with the more experienced players in the side.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's counterweighted by, 4 players over 40 in this side? I would have thought. Brad, Ziad.
Is Brad? I'm not sure if Brad is. James
late
Schofi's
30s,
40.
late 30s probably, Brad. But anyway, a lot of LMS experience there. I think it's almost 2,000 caps in this Sydney Storm side, so a huge contrast here against Lucknow Tigers. So it's really a battle of LMS experience.
Always having a go.
That would have been gone by a mile there. Just a single, but they survive. Nehru moves on to 43 off 27. That would have been a big run out. Just gives them the knowledge, if Nehru retires here, that on 50, then they've got him in the sheds at the end, just in case they do have a bit of a collapse. It gives them the license to go much harder. Not that they're not going to go hard, I think, Andy, with the likes of Brad and Ziad. And Chauffeur, is he attacking batsman? He's got the best batting average in the whole side, hasn't he? Almost 100.
Yeah, absolutely. Chauffeur's probably been playing LMS now for about 3 or 4 years, and he started with his own side called Cleveland Seamers. He's been playing the higher grades a little bit more recently, and he's just a really strong hitter. And so he had a warm-up game with the boys on the weekend at Open, so he can really bat anywhere from sort of 1 to 6 and do a good job.
Here we go. Mohammed Faisal comes in to Vikram Nehru. Oh, beautiful ball. Just outside off stump there. Nehru was just trying to guide it down to that vacant third man region. As I say, at the moment, the 2 points out there are still, they've moved even closer since that boundary out there. So there's a straight, very straight point, deep, and then the backward point rather than a third man. So you can see why Nehru was going for that shot there. Same with fine leg as well. If they can get it anywhere behind square, there's runs to be had.
Straight down the ground.
Beautiful shot by Vikram Nehru. That is a class shot. Moves on to 47.
So you can see why Nehru was going for that shot there. Same with fine leg as well. If they can get it anywhere behind square, there's runs to be had.
So we'll have the change of ends after this ball. Sydney Storm will be hoping to see Vikram retire here before the change. Get someone new out there. It's been a good inning so far from Vikram. See if he can finish off and retire.
That shows where the gap is as well, because it's quite a wide long off down here. Bowler Mohammed Faisal disappointed with that, but it was good attacking intent there. I've been very impressed with Vikram Nehru, Andy. I'd heard a lot of things about him, but I've never seen him play before. But he's just come out from the get-go, no nerves, just went hard. The 4 off his first ball really helped. He had a few dot balls, but that didn't get to him. He's hit 3 sixes and a beautiful straight 4 there. He's really looked like a class player, this one.
Yeah, this has turned into a really strong partnership now as we approach 76 before the turn.
There we go. Just through to the keeper. Why he survives again there, Vikrant. So that's the end of 10 overs, a halfway stage, 76 for none. Sydney Storm now well on track after a terrific last 4 overs. Lucknow Tigers would have been very happy with their first 6 overs or so, but a bit disappointed that they haven't managed to break this partnership. I mean, they probably won't know some of the attacking batsmen that are to come, so they'll feel like they deserved a couple of wickets there. A few of those ones that just missed the off stump by a fraction. They had a chance in the deep as well early, which would have been a big early wicket. But we're having a drinks break now at the 10 over mark, and then we'll see the second 10. But Sydney Storm will be very happy with that, Andy, and they're well set with this platform. And just Hasajazi and Vikrant have shown that they've got solid heads to be able to have a few of those dot balls, but still keep the runs ticking.
Yeah, and this is only the, I think this will be the first time they've actually batted together. So it does take a little bit of getting used to how each other run between the wickets and the different strike rates. So I think it was low 30s after 6 overs. So as you said, Rob, really strong comeback there in the last 4 before the turn. So 76 runs with no wickets. I think the Sydney Storm will be quite happy. But the Lucknow Tigers have bowled reasonably well at stages. So sets it up for a really interesting second 10 overs. And we had captain of the Sydney Storm, LMS legends, Ziad Abbas, going out there to give a few instructions to the guys. And I think the key now is for Vikrant to retire as soon as possible.
So here we go. So we're about to see the second 10 overs, and it's going to be a big 10 overs here. It's going to be exciting stuff with the attacking batsmen to come, the likes of Brad McGrath and Ziad Abbas. These two players, they may not have played together before, but they'll know each other well. They play in the same league together in Sydney, so Huss will have seen the destructive hitting of Vikrant before. Hasajazi playing for Spider Monkeys, who could be Sydney champions elect this season. They're on track for the Sydney title in the latter stages of competition. While Vikrant Nehru plays for probably Australia's most popular team, the Primary Club of Australia, which all of you know is the charity affiliate of LMS in Australia. Wonderful team. Anyway, fantastic partnership to get their tournament going here.
Absolutely. Just it sets up their tournament now too as well. They've been able to spend a bit of time in the middle and get used to each other. So Hustle be looking to get his strike rate up a little bit, but he's done his job, and that was the job that Ziad, we had a bit of a team meeting at the hotel last night over dinner, and this is exactly what Ziad had asked of Huss, and we were hoping that Vikrant would be able to accelerate a bit more, which he's done. So good start here.
So projected score at the moment, 152.
So we've got a new bowler coming on here for his first over. So it'll be interesting to see what Mohit's got.
There we go, Mohit, Abhichandani. I really like the look of Mohammed Ishaq. He's only got 1 over left though, I think. But if I was the fielding captain, I probably would bowl him at the new batsman. That should be coming in one way or another soon. Looked like a dangerous player, but then also Shariful Islam was skidding a few through low, skiddy action. Let's see what Mohit has. Down to backward point there for a single. Hasajazi just having a look. Right, let's see what Vikrant is going to do here. You'd think he's going to not have much of a look at Mohit, I'd say, Andy. I think he'll just be wanting to get back in the sheds.
Yeah, Vikrant's a fairly confident player.
So Abhichandani, let's see what he's got. Can he be the man to get out? Vikrant Nehru goes up in the air there.
6 runs. What a way to retire for Vikrant Nehru.
4th 6 for Vikrant Nehru, and that ends a really solid, well, an exceptional first innings of this tournament. 53 off 31 balls. Really kept his head after a few dot balls, but he got things going with a beautiful flick off his legs, boundary first ball, and he's hit 4 sixes there, and a lovely straight drive as well. He's played shots all around the ground there, and with his straight drives, he's shown he's got class. So well played, Vikrant Nehru. 53-run retirement, really takes the pressure off Sydney Storm. Here, gives them a license to go.
So we've got LMS legend Gus Sloan. He'd probably be one of, if not the youngest LMS legends out at the crease. Very aggressive batsman. He's got a license to go now.
Flicked off his legs beautifully, and look how quickly he runs that first run. He plays with a lot of intent, Gus Sloan. He's a big man. He's a strong man. He's also a very good bowler. A lot of you will know him from the last World Champs, especially Sydney 2019, where his team Enjoy the Mint had a good run in the tournament, and Gus played exceptionally well that tournament.
Yeah, they bowed out at the quarter-final stage to Heritage Cricketers. So we've got Ronnie here as one of the team owners again.
There's actually quite a few links here with Ziad Abbas being skipper, along with a few of the other Sydneys on the side of the East Coast Wales side that reached the final there against Ronnie's.
No, it was
sorry, yeah, the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be good to see Ronnie back here with some of his exceptionally talented Bangladesh players. The winners of that last World Championship. Obviously an Indian side, Bajrangi. So that's the end of the 11th over from Mohit Abichandani. 10 runs off that over, score 86 for none after 11 overs. Hasid Jazi looking very solid here, 30 off 25. He's really done a great role for his team, opening the batting. 86 for none, Sydney Storm. What have Lucknow Tigers got? So it looks like Shariful Islam back onto bowl. He's bowled his 2 overs so far. He's gone for 20 runs, but he's bowled better than that. Some of those ones skidding through outside off stump look very dangerous. Let's see how Gus plays this. Just checking his field. What have we got? So we've got a wide-ish long on and wide-ish long off. Deep mid-wicket. Backward square. Leg out deep. Very more of a deep point rather than cover, and then again the wide-ish third man. So in the V just behind the batsman. There's space to be had if he can get it down to fine leg like he did, but he goes out to the offside. There's a gap there out to cover, but it was a bit too parallel there, so the point gets round to it. But that will settle Gus' nerves getting out the middle there. And I'm happy to be joined here in the commentary box by the man of the moment, Vikrant Nehru. Wonderful innings from him. Yeah. 53. Well batted, Vikrant. How was it out there?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Hey, everyone. Yeah, the conditions are completely different. It's nothing like back home. It's slow. The spinners do a really good job. Their spinners were really good on the target. And it wasn't easy at first, but as long as you get yourself in, take your time, and then go hard from there.
Well, yeah, you helped with that first shot you played. Like, you looked right at home straight away with the flick off your legs through mid-wicket. That must have settled any nerves you had.
Yeah, that's my favourite shot. I love the slog sweep, anything down leg, scoops. So
and then we were saying you and Huss held your heads well after a few of those dot balls in around the 5th and 6th over, and that 6 over long on must have really, well, it obviously helped you get back in. It wasn't long until you retired after that.
Yeah, I needed that. That was the dot balls were building pressure, but Huss at the other end was really good in just keeping my head and telling me to just stick through it. So yeah, I really appreciate the team.
And it seems like the kind of conditions that if you get it in the right areas, there's a lot of twos to be had that will put the pressure on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key as well. That's one of the keys. It's just not boundary balls as in T20, but it's also singles and twos, which are as important. Yeah.
So what would you say from here then, Vikrant? What are you looking at as a good total from here? There's no wickets lost, 12 overs, 40
mate.
balls left.
We've got such a good firepower down all through. I think anywhere over 160 to 180, that's really good. 100 runs in the next 8, yeah, I would say.
So 100 runs off the next 40 balls. So Vikrant's being ambitious there, but as he said, there's a lot of aggressive Sydney Storm batting to come, and they'll feel, I think, yeah, if it's more between 160 and 165, they'll be disappointed from here. But there has been a little bit of pressure building, to be honest, though, Vikrant. If we look at the last 7 balls, just 3 runs off it and 4 dot balls. You know, it's always difficult as a new batsman coming in. As you say, the conditions are so different out there to back in Australia and Sydney, so it'll be hard for Gus here because he'll know that he's expected to hit runs quickly, and that'll just put more pressure on him, but he bunts that out nicely to mid-wicket. I think he's just got to keep on getting a few of the singles, just get into this game and let Huss do a bit of the attacking now that he's got his eye in.
Yeah. As I said, like, just get yourself in and just go hard from there. It's not the same for everyone, so everyone needs a bit of time. Oh, that's a good bounce.
Eamon Ahmed, so a bit of lift there, a bit more pace. We haven't seen a lot of seam bowling so far, Vikrant, but then most of your side's bowling attack is seam, isn't it?
It won't, not much spin to except us.
For everyone.
So we'll see how that goes, but look at this lovely delivery here from Ahmed. Just shapes away, good bounce there.
Oh,
Huss showing his intent there as well. First chance of a real proper pull shot. Oh, doesn't get hold of that, but it's edged down, and that is valuable there. That's just what Huss and Sydney Storm needed there.
Oh,
Huss showing his intent
hold
there, but he went hard and got the result pull shot. Oh, doesn't get hold of that, but unlucky there for Lucknow Tigers. Edged down a bit here, Vikrant. I feel that their bowling performance has deserved a couple of wickets, but you know they haven't had much luck. There was one half chance early in the deep, I think, the first couple of overs. But a few of those ones that skidded through just outside off stump, they would have hoped to have got the off stump with.
Yeah, I mean, they've bowled well, especially with the spin. They've hit really good straight lines, and they haven't given us anything down leg to really get under. So I think that's the key as well.
So look at that there, that edged 4, Vikrant. If we look at the last 10 balls, there's been, 4 dots and 5 singles, so that edged 4 was crucial there, just to keep the scoreboard ticking. I think it was 76 after 10 overs, so there's only been 19 runs in the 15 balls since the turn, and you retired just after the turn, so Huss will be really keen for a boundary, maybe through the covers or somewhere, just to get him going. It's very clear to see where the gaps are, but you've got to force the shots against these spin bowlers with. Just out to the deep there. Long on comes in, so.
Another thing I found was the cross-bat shots, they weren't as easy to play. You had to almost go through the line and really play technically correct. So the ones that I was trying to sweep, the ones that I was trying to slog sweep, I couldn't get it because the ball was just slow popping and yeah, it's just not the right shot for the pitch or the ball.
So that's the
go straight.
So that'll be the pressure on Gus to get hold of these conditions quickly, and that's just what he needs. The fine nick, and that's just more bad luck for Lucknow Tigers. I really am feeling for these guys. They've bowled well, and they've really not got their rewards. I think that's the 3rd boundary that's now gone down to either third man or fine leg off an edge. So, 12 runs, that could have easily been dot balls, but that moves Sydney Storm onto the 100 mark. 100 for none after 13.2 overs, so they're well set here. In fact, that was buys. There wasn't even an edge there, so went straight through the keeper. He'll be disappointed with that. So will Gus. Gus will have been wanting those extra 4 runs against his.
He wants to strike 200. What are you doing, Gus? Come on.
Bit of pressure. He's just got to keep his head here. Gus, he's an exceptional player, and he's played in a lot of big games before, but these are very different conditions here in India. Lovely shot there. Kept his head in. He goes hard on that first round. He wanted to come back for the second. Maybe Huss is a bit puffed, but they're both fit men, these guys, but difficult conditions out there. It's quite close and sweaty conditions, I think. It's lucky that you were playing first game of the day here.
Yeah, we prepared well as well. Like, everyone's taken it seriously, done some fitness, worked on their skill sets, and we had a trial game yesterday.
Straight down the ground there, and he's got that right out of the middle. Boy. Beautiful stuff. Into the trees. Huss Hijazi showing the value, as you said earlier, of playing through the ball, that straight bat down the ground. In fact, well, three of your sixes, or all of the three of them were pretty much straight drives, weren't they? Even that one over extra cover, that was the pick of the bunch. So just got to hit through the ball and follow up just with a well done there by Shariful Islam. Follow that up with a dot ball. Disappointing over for him so far with those buys going through. Obviously not his fault, but the over's gone for 11 already. So that is the end of the over. So yeah, 14 overs, 107 for none. And when you look at some of these Sydney Storm players to come, that you got Ziad Abbas, for example. He loves the straight drive shot, so you'd feel that he'd have a.
I feel like
he'd be a good punt for maybe the next batsman to come in.
Ziad would be an amazing matchup against all these boys, especially on the front foot. He loves that front foot. He has so much power. He can just go through the ball and probably end up out of the park.
Here we go. This is the bowler I like, Mohamed Ishak, who I thought was bowling leg breaks before I realised that he was bowling with his left arm. So he looked like he had good flight out there against you.
Oh, good grip. Very good grip. Yeah.
He gets a lot of turn, doesn't he? Just forces those cut shots out to the point. That's where you're getting most of your runs off him, I think.
Yeah, he's not giving you any chances to really go after him.
So it's been a great spell here from Ishak. Let's see if he can finish it with a wicket. Oh, too much spin there, but he's saved from the wide. Just goes down a third man for a single. Hasijazi moving on to 44 of 33 balls. A really great innings from Huss here. Again, like Vikrant, really just kept his head after a few dot balls, but has showed his class with some exceptional balls. There we go. Right down here to third man. More buys. Keeper will be disappointed with that. But look at that rip there, bang. But then, to be fair, that was... Keeper just should have stayed down for that, really, shouldn't he? It was quite full pitch. You wouldn't have expected that to get through him, but he'd be disappointed with that. But more valuable runs to Sydney Storm. They've now got 27 deliveries left. Vikrant Nehru here with me in the commentary box, who retired earlier on 53. He is keen for 180 potentially. So for them to get to 180, they're going to need a 67 off 27 balls. That's certainly achievable.
Doable, boys. Come on.
Projected score now 155. Way wide there, and he's gone hard at that, Gus. Where's that gone? Out to the deep, through the fielder, and that is just what Gus Sloan needed to get him going. Moves on to 10 off 12 balls, and he could tell he would have been desperate for that. And this was a lovely shot here, Vikrant.
Oh, he loves his offside play.
That's beautiful. Wow. Kept his shape well. Really got it out the middle. Fielder, fine effort in the deep, but couldn't quite get round there, and that would do no end of good for Gus Sloan. Let's see what he's got now. Such a talented and successful player in LMS. He's a real winner. 15 overs gone. 117 for none. So Ishak, a fine spell there. Disappointingly for him, ends with a boundary. 4 overs, none for 26. Could have been a lot better for him. He had a couple of half chances.
Yes, very, very good bowler. I think the best in the team, I would say.
The other bowler that's caught my eye is that Shariful Islam, who's the guy that had a good first over until you're 6 off him on the last ball. He looks like he's got quite a skiddy, low action. A lot of his balls were the ones that seemed to slide through.
Yes. He was mainly bowling carom balls. He wasn't trying to turn it. Just keep it outside off. Just stick to a length. Yeah, I think he did quite well as well. But every one of the bowlers was quite unique. So
that's what you could say you need in a bowling attack is variability. Talk us through your bowling attack. I mean, it's mainly seam bowlers, isn't it?
That's right. So
left armers, right armers?
Mainly all right, actually, yeah. So I think the change-ups would be key. Even though we just bowl all right-arm seam, we have different change-ups. Utilize the pitch differently, hit the deck differently. I think that's good enough. That's good enough.
I see. I think it's so important in LMS sides to have a lot of variability, but this Sydney Storm side to me is a team of pretty much made up of destructive all-rounders, aren't they? You know, destructive. Apart from Hasajazi, more the anchor batsman of the team that you're going to rely on just to get solid starts, and the rest of you destructive batsmen who are good seam bowlers as well, but maybe not the variability that you'd like. If you could chuck in a spin bowler or a slow left armer in there, that could be a good addition maybe on some pitches. But I think the mentality of most of the guys in the team is that you can outscore any opposition. Would that be correct?
Yes, that was the key going into this comp. Just I think that might be
just the single there. Oh, no, they're coming back for 2. So Hijazi moves on to 46 now, so just 1 hit away from his retirement.
Yeah, I think that was the key. Just our batting power taking us into the comp. I think we were quite confident in chasing anything and putting a big target. So that's not a problem. It's just the bowling, the variability, and the adapting to the conditions and what is the right length. Just getting that and not carried away. If we get hit for a boundary ball, just stick back to our basics and just stay calm.
Absolutely. So it's Mohammed Faisal bowling his 3rd over. Hasajazi down to deep square leg, or just get the single there. Moves on to 47 off 35 balls. So very solid innings coming to an end here for Huss. Looking like he'll either retire soon or get out in the next couple of balls, you would have thought. Gus Sloan on strike. And now with only 23 balls left, this is where the guys will really know that they've got to go. And it's going to be difficult for the new batsman coming in, because he's coming in with only about 20 balls to go, expected to go for the hits, which makes me doubt to deep mid-wicket there from Gus Sloan. He's run the first one hard, a slight misfield. They've got to come back for the second, and they should be able to do it relatively easily. Well done from Gus Sloan. So moves on to 12 off 14 now. He'll be feeling a lot better in himself. He's got his eye in, played a cracking cover shot for a boundary in the previous over. Mohammed Faisal, what's he got here? There we go, and that's a big wicket. Well taken by the keeper. I was slightly critical of him before, but he took the one that mattered there. It looked like a bit of a fine nick. Gus will be disappointed with that, but he looked good there. He was getting going. Gus, 12 runs, so he'll be disappointed that his innings is end there, just when he was looking the part. Let's have a look at this replay here, Vikram. Does this one just skid through him? Must have been a very fine nick there. But they both went up at the same time. The umpire was confident. So they've changed it up a bit, and I thought they'd probably do this, Vikram. They've sent in Brad McGrath ahead of Ziad Abbas, because although we all know Ziad is one of the most destructive hitters in LMS, he does like normally to have 5 or 6 balls just to settle himself in, get the eye, get the pitch, and then he goes hard. And when you look at it at this stage, when there's only 21 balls left, he's probably feeling that Brad McGrath is going to be the better option in terms of just going straight in and having a big hit. He's a big man, Brad McGrath. He's a destructive all-rounder. New Zealander originally, although he's been in Sydney, Australia for quite a long time now. Dot off the first ball, and that's the difficulty, isn't it, Vikram, coming in now in these end few overs with the conditions the way they are, as you're saying, very alien conditions for all of these Sydney players. So to come in and be expected to hit hard straight away is going to be tricky, and it's a little bit of a, maybe worrying is too strong a word, but it hasn't quite kicked on the last few overs that you would have hoped for Sydney Storm.
I think in Australia there's a lot of bounce and a lot of carry, a lot of the ball hits deck at a good pace, and it doesn't stick and it doesn't pop, it doesn't like slow down, and we're used to playing off the back foot a lot more, and here we gotta understand, like, even the ones that are hitting length, you just still gotta stay on the front foot and just launch it instead of the back foot.
Absolutely. Hasajazi off his legs there. Has he got enough on that? No, it's just gone to that backward square leg. So he moves on to 48, brings Brad McGrath on strike. Brad McGrath, we just saw their logo pop up there, Structural Glazing Group, the Sydney Storm team sponsor. He's affiliated with that group as well, Brad McGrath. So a big shout out to those guys for their support of Brad and the team this tournament. Great to have their support, and see their banner and logo around the ground, and it'll be popping up any moment on the live scoring. Great thanks to all the companies and individuals that have backed teams in this tournament and help sponsor it and make the dreams of a lot of these players a reality. So Husajazi on 48. 2 runs needed to retire. Plays it off his legs. He goes hard the first one. Will Brad be coming back for the second? Yes, he will. He goes hard. Now this will be a chance. Keep step back for it. There we go. So brilliant innings there from Husajazi. 50 off 37 balls. Vikrant Nehru and Husajazi, both 50s for the 2 Sydney Storm openers. Kept their heads, adjusted to conditions early, really laid a brilliant platform for their team. Both ended up retiring with pretty decent strike rate 50s as well. So exceptional stuff there from Sydney Storm. So you spent half the time batting with him out there, Vikrant. Yeah. Just talk us through that innings.
Oh no, he's just the anchor of our team, isn't he? He's calm, he's collected, he has a good mindset in there, and when I'm just trying to hit sixes every ball basically, and he's like, don't worry, just rotate the strike, I got this one. And yeah, he plays a really big part in this team and in the partnership of the opening stand. So yeah.
Well, here we go. This is the big man, the captain of the Sydney Storm side, Ziad Abbas, who many of you globally will know. He's played for the Australia side at the last World Series, or World Cup as it's now named, and was a good performer there. He's been highly successful, as we said, in the last World Champs, steering the side right to final. Semi-final, sorry. And here we go. He gets a single off the first ball. As we said, Ziad does like a few balls to settle in and get going. But then once he gets going, he's just the kind of batsman Sydney Storm need here. Loves his straight sixes. He also played in the Mumbai Open here in India a few years ago. Won the plate final with his team with a home run off the last ball, which pretty much went almost out the stadium. So great to see Ziad batting out there. 2 LMS legends here, Brad McGrath and Ziad Abbas, officially LMS legends. So fantastic to see them playing here in India. They also play for the same side back in Sydney, Spider Monkeys. So 3 overs to go, Vikrant. What's your readjusted score that you're hoping for here? 15 balls left, scores 128.
I think 150 would be a very good score, yeah.
So you're backing yourself with 150.
Yeah, I'm backing these 2, yeah.
We were saying earlier that we thought par score would be about 160. At one stage we were hoping, well, the Sydney Storm entourage were hoping that the side would be able to get up towards maybe 170, 180, but they've been pegged back very well here by good Lucknow Tigers bowling, who've just kept their heads. Another shorter one from Ahmed there.
Like to see that.
He's been quite successful with that, Vikrant. He's bowled 3 like that, 1 edged through for 4, and the other 2 straight through to the keeper. So that short of the length bouncer outside off stumps working well for him.
I think that might be good for us as well. We've got all seamers.
Absolutely. So Ahmed comes in for his second delivery. It's good spell so far. 2.2 overs, just 15 runs off him. And now, well, thank you there to Vikrant Nehru. Wonderful innings from him today. 53 to open the batting for Sydney Storm. Got a change in the commentary box here with another LMS legend joining me, Sammy Lang. Welcome to the box, Sam Lang. So Sam is also the captain of the other Sydney side in this tournament. Sorry, the Sydney side.
Come on.
Right, it's all about Sydney, isn't it? The other Australian side in this tournament, Brisbane Burners. Great group of guys, mainly from the Brisbane area. A couple from Canberra and a couple from far north Queensland, Cairns. Sam's the skipper, Matt Turnbull, team owner and manager. Welcome, Sam. How's your arrival in India been so far?
Cheers, Rob. It's an eye-opener. It's definitely an experience. I think anyone listening and anyone tuning in, if they get a chance to get on board this trip or this tour, it's definitely worth it. It's it's only day 1. We're loving it, every minute of it.
So you came in early yesterday, so you've had about 24 hours here so far, right?
I got in at 6 o'clock last night and had a quiet night, I promise. and then a nice early start to come out and support the Sydney boys.
That's it. Yeah, I can't imagine you and the boys would have that quiet a night, but great that you've entered fully into the whole Indian scene here. And what do you think, if we're just focusing on this game, we'll come on to talking about Brisbane Burners more during the break. You've got 2 overs left. What would you have hoped for as Sydney Storm when you saw the platform that they had earlier if you were the skipper?
Yeah, look, well, I think we got here is 80 at the turn, pretty much, and I would have liked to have seen them, tick over that 150, and comfortably over that 150. But I think with Brad and Ziad out there, it's definitely on the cards to get over the 150. But yeah, I would have, hoped for probably 160, 170.
Well, that helps them. Another 4 buys going through, so there's been several buys now. Really have helped the Sydney Storm. But it has shown how hard it is for batsmen to adjust out there. We saw that with the openers. They both retired with great 50s in the end, but all the batsmen have found it difficult to get going. And that's a straight one there from Brad McGrath. So not that straight, mid-wicket. But it's got hold of that one, and that will do no end of good for his confidence. Moves on to 10 off 9 after 4 off 8 balls. So that's the one that Brad wanted, just in his slot.
Yeah, Brad's definitely a dangerous player. I think the Sydney team, every one of them is very much a dangerous player. So it's, any one of them can win this tournament for them. I think Brad's going to hopefully tee off here for these boys, and then Ziad will take last over on his shoulders and take it home.
Well, let's see how Kashi Fanwar can... Oh, edge through the keeper again. This is so unlucky for the Lucknow Tigers. So 4 runs there, Brad McGrath. But how's that? I think that's now... probably 6 balls have gone for 4, either an edge or as buys. So when you look at that, that's like 6 balls that probably should be dot balls or a wicket, going for 24 runs there. And that's a massive difference when you look at the scorecard here. But anyway, Sydney Storm will take any luck they can, and
oof. Yeah, it's
done the appeal there.
A bit tacky out there as well. So, you need those 4 or 5 balls just to get used to the pitch before you can have that big swing. So yeah, having the 2 guys in the shed would have helped, but people just need to probably get their eye in for 1 or 2 rather than try and swing hard from ball 1.
That's it. They've almost come in a bit too late, these guys, haven't they, to not have a few balls to be able to settle. There we go, just bunted back to the bowler there. So good comeback here from the bowler after that first ball 6. Very unlucky with the edged 4, and then a couple of dots. Well, pretty unlucky overall round there. 4 buys and edged 4. 2 dots, and somehow he's still gone for 14 runs off the over. So
it's the beauty of LMS.
Absolutely, well, that's the thing, And then 1 over to go, 145 for 1, the score. So we're probably going to get past what Vikrant was hoping for, 150. But at one stage, Vikrant was hoping for 180, so that shows what Sam was just saying, that they will be a bit disappointed having been close to 80 at the turn for no wicket, so not being able to kick on as much as they wanted. But that's before we see Ziad Abbas, though. Sam, what's he got here?
Yeah, he's apparently been in a bit of form back in Sydney leading up to the tournament, so hopefully we get to see that out there now. And I mean, we've seen it at multiple tournaments, Newcastle, England, national champs back home. He's just a beast sometimes. You just can't hold him back.
As I said, he's performed here in India before the Mumbai Open a few years ago. He was exceptional there. Come back for 2 there.
Yeah, I think Ziad will probably try and take the strike for this entire over here. And if he does get going, they'll potentially even push that 170.
Let's see what he's got. He's hit a lot of home runs in his career, Ziad Abbas. So going to Iman Ahmed. Get one of those shorter bounces in. Oh, there we go. Another edged 4, 3/3 man. I mean, there comes a point, Sam. You can have fielding. You're a captain, but you can have all your fielding plans. But there is a point, surely, when that many runs have gone through a region that you've got to think about adjusting. I mean, that's now, I think that's almost 30 runs down through that fine region now.
Yeah, I think probably with Aussie sides coming over here, we're very much used to playing through the line of the ball, so it is probably worth having that player fielding at sort of fine leg and 3rd man.
Straight down the ground
great
there.
Shot there from Z.
Got the middle of that so well. Now this is turning into a very good over here for Sydney Storm. So 12 runs off just the 3 deliveries so far. Ziad Abbas with confidence in his veins now, having got that one right out the middle. A bit lucky with the edge. But yeah, Sam giving away the tactics. All the Aussie teams playing more straight. You don't want to be telling the opposition where to field, but I'm sure they won't be listening to us.
Bluff there. So I know a few of our boys definitely play almost 360.
Oh, where's that going?
Oh,
Well, that's lucky for the Storm that they haven't lost their big hitter before the home run ball. Ziad furious with himself there. So what is Eamon Ahmed going to do here? I mean, to be honest, he's bowled that shorter bouncer, well, hardly a bouncer, but just slightly short of a length outside off stump so effectively today. Surely you'd just bring a third man round and just bowl that ball because you're not going to hit 6 there.
It's a good finish there from the bowler. Z will probably be not happy with himself, but they should get 2.
They do come back for 2 there.
Yeah, good running from Z.
So Ziad with a good little flurry of runs at the end there, finishes on 16 off just 7 deliveries. Brad McGrath 14 off 12 deliveries, so almost up to the par score. We said at the start that we thought a par score was 160 here. Well, they got to 159, Sydney, for the loss of just 1 wicket, so you could argue that they would have been hoping for more like 170, 175. But what would you feel like, having seen most of that innings out there, Sam, and as a captain yourself, are you confident if you're Sydney Storm here, or are you a bit nervous having seen the short boundaries and the way the pitch is playing?
Look, I think the way the pitch is playing, again, us or the Aussie side's adjusting to that little bit of tackiness. Bowling that fuller length is potentially, the right thing. But I'd be comfortable with 160 on the board, or making a team chase 160. But it is about bowling to your plans and setting the field right, because you could see out here with those runs through third man, and their fielders were probably just slightly off. With the way that the Aussies batted. So I think, if the Sydney Storm set their fields right, they should quite comfortably defend it. But, who knows? I mean, we've seen tournaments where one team goes out and scores 200 one game, and then they struggle to get 100 in the second game. So it's, definitely going to be a good tournament, I think, if this is the starting point, 160 off the board for a touring side.
And I think that the first 5 overs here are crucial in the reply, aren't they? Basically, how those first 5 overs go are going to dictate things, really, with strong words to say, but the relatively one-dimensional Sydney Storm bowling attack. If a few come off the middle early with the openers straight back down the ground, then it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Storm bowlers. But on counter that, if they only go for 30 off the first 5, then you'd imagine a few nerves will be going through this Lucknow Tigers side. Very inexperienced LMS side, but obviously good cricketers.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be a big thing for the local teams, is that LMS format. We've seen it a bit back home with new teams, is still playing that, build an innings really slow and then go really hard at the end. But when you've only got the 6 fielders, if you can hit your gaps early, then you're getting those 2s, you're getting those boundaries. But, we've seen new teams to this format sort of push that single hit to the fielder rather than just push the gap. The Storm boys, definitely, if they stick to their plans, and like I said, that first 5 overs will be crucial. And I think Ziad's just going to have to be adaptable, not come in with any real set plan. Just have probably your first 2 openers ready to bowl at least obviously 1 or 2 each, but potentially rotate 3 bowlers and change it up.
Absolutely. Well, during the innings break here, let's just turn our attention to the other Australian side we have in this tournament, Brisbane Burners. Really great group of guys, and fantastic to have all the guys in the team involved in this tournament. So they'll be up next, so stick around with us after this game, because we'll be very keen to see how the Brisbane Burners go. And so, Sam, of the guys in the Brisbane Burners team, actually, before we come on to that, let's just check out a few of these highlights of the Storm first innings. There we go. That was the one in the deep from Vikram early. That was almost a half chance. So if he had attacked that more, the fielder, things could have been very different. Just a few half chances. Great fielding out there in the deep. But we can see Vikrant was the one that really came out with intent here.
Yeah, I haven't. First time I've seen Vikrant play through LMS anyway, and he looked quite comfortable out there when I got here. Obviously, some very unique bowling here from Ishak.
Absolutely, gets a lot of rip. It's going to be a dangerous bowler this tournament. Very unlucky to not end up with a wicket today. All of these Lucknow bowlers bowled well, actually. You can just see just one of those edges, one of many, many edges or sets of byes that went through fine. That was what got Vikrant going. That was his first 6, and then he followed it up with 2 6s soon after. So they needed that. That was a big moment for Sydney Storm there, because they had a few dot balls in a row. And then Huss got going as well with a fine cut shot through the point. And then that really got Sydney Storm going. And at this stage, well, especially once it got 10 overs, there was big 3 overs here before the retirement of Vikrant. Yeah, lots of boundaries following.
Getting here a little bit after this game started, I wouldn't have picked that. Vikrant and Huss were struggling a bit. Obviously, the highlights here showing that once they got that confidence, they felt quite comfortable out there, which is a good thing for us coming into the next game, is to just back yourself and
absolutely
give yourself a little bit of time.
These guys showed it. And once Vikrant started hitting sixes, then the sixes just seemed easy for him. Beautiful one that he hit over extra cover, then the straight one just over long on there, and then he hit another straight one as well. So that just shows once you get used to the conditions and then you back yourself and go hard through the ball, then these boundaries aren't going to stop you.
Yeah, I think probably a big one I noticed when I first got here was the running between the wickets. Huss and Vikrant, when they when they hit the gaps, they pushed hard for the 2. Gus, first ball out of the gate, sprinted that first one, even though there probably was only 1 in it. So it's just showing that as much as the big hitting in the highlights is good, their score got to where it was due to the 1s and 2s pushing hard.
Absolutely, and then this will be just coming up to Vikrant's retirement in a couple of moments' time. Hit a beautiful straight shot down the ground there. There was no one, and that's the thing. You got to look at where the field's set here, and there was a big gap straight there, and he picked that beautifully. And then ended it off with another 6 to finish and retire on 53, straight back over the bowler's head. So there was a wonderful innings there from Vikrant Nehru. And then Hasajazi had to take over the bulk of the scoring, and he did well, as you can see, when he was 31 for 26. And I think his retirement then came off 35 balls, Sam. So just shows the acceleration once you do get your eye in.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be Sydney Storm's key for them, is that they all, once they do get in, can all tee off very, very quickly towards the end of their innings.
And Gus Sloan, we can see in that. Well, look at that shot there from Huss. So wonderful straight 6, and that really got him going as well. Didn't take him long to retire after this. Gus hit a beautiful cover drive, which not sure if we've had the chance to see, which got him going. And then with that edge, hopefully it's this one. It was a beautiful cover drive. Yep. Yeah, that one there. Lovely cracking shot from Gus Sloan. So he'll be disappointed that he got a very fine nick behind when he'd got through the early nerves. You know, he'd seen off the early part, got used to the pitch, hit a couple of ones nicely out the middle, and then this one just went through him. Must have been a fine nick. He did seem a bit surprised, but
yeah, Gus will be a little bit disappointed with himself, but he'll definitely bounce back in the next game. He's definitely a passionate player and doesn't like to fail. So he'll see that as a fail, even though he did get a chance to get his eye in.
And then we saw Brad McGrath get going with that big 6 over mid-wicket, and that's the thing. These big men, McGrath and Ziad, if they get out the middle, none of these boundaries here are going to stop them.
That was my first thought when I walked in, is there's definitely a few short parts in this boundary which will be taken advantage of by, I think, the Aussie sides. And hopefully the local sides can do the same as well to make it a cracking tournament.
And then we just see another of those ones there, Sam. As I say, I mean, I could be wrong, but it was definitely at least 30 runs that came through nicks and buys, just at a very, very fine margin there. So the lack of adjustment here from Lucknow Tigers was a bit surprising.
Yeah,
another one there from Ziad.
Again, it's something that I think all the teams need to really think about is being adaptive, not sort of just sticking to the plan you might have when you first rock up, or the first 2 overs. The plan can completely change, and they might have been trying to bowl to that point fielder, but it just wasn't coming off.
And then what about this one here from Ziad, Sam? Talk us through this one.
That's just Ziad being Ziad. You love to see it, especially when you're not bowling to it. And it's, he just swings through the line, gentle, doesn't really force it. And when he hits it the cleanest I've probably seen out of anyone in LMS.
So there we go. 159 was that first innings total. Fantastic play by Vikrant Nehru and Hasajazi, both retiring with 50s. We felt that Mohammad Ishaq was the pick of the Lucknow bowlers. And yeah, back again to our Queensland team, Brisbane Burners. So it seems like a terrific group of guys you got there, Sam. And with these guys, we've probably got about a minute. We can chat about them before we get on to the second innings here. Batsmen beginning to come out. How many of the guys have you played with before then?
Honestly, 1, I think. So 1 I've actually played with. And then we had a trial game where we did get 6 of us into the trial game, which was good. And yeah, exactly like you said, great bunch of blokes, and committed to this really, really early, really, really showed a lot more commitment than I've probably seen in any other tournament. Clint drove from Maitland to come to a training session, so that's a 7-8 hour drive back home. And then the week beforehand, he did the same thing, driving 6 hours south from Rockhampton to come to another training session. So these boys are definitely committed and looking forward to the challenge.
Brilliant, that's great to hear. A real great experience for the guys, and well, yourself. I mean, you're pretty used to playing with new players. I mean, I don't know how many LMS teams you would have played for in your time, but with your job and all the travel. How many is that?
This will be 92, I think.
92 LMS teams for Sam Lang. Well, there you go. So if you're going to have a captain of a side of newish players that he's new to, then you can get a better man. And yeah, it's well, you've been on a few LMS tours. This is your second in just a few months.
Yeah,
the World Champs in Cape Town just 3 months ago.
Yeah, World Champs in Cape Town was definitely great. Love to get onto that experience, and glad that we definitely did that. That was our 3 short team from Canberra. And Chris Mapstone from 3 shorts over here as well for this in the Brisbane Burners side. So he's the one player that I have played a lot of games with. And the rest of the boys I've heard the names, and they've played together in their comps, local comps. So I've definitely got some insight from each other about who can do what and when the best place for them to get into the game is.
So from what you've seen so far, just pick the one player that you feel we should really keep a lookout for today, Brisbane Burners. Who's your captain's pick for the player that the crowds should be looking out for?
For the excitement, Clint. Clint's going to be our Ziad.
That's Clint Ratatagia.
Yeah, big, gentle giant off the field, and he's going to demoralise a few of the bowlers out there, I hope.
Absolutely.
So keep everyone entertained.
Hopefully that will lift his spirits after the demoralisation of his kit bag not arriving in.
Yeah. So I've potentially stitched him up there because he's using all of everyone else's sort of makeshift gear at the moment, because unfortunately his kit bag didn't arrive.
And try and find someone else with size 14 shoes.
Yes. As well. So keep an eye out for the sports Crocs, because he could be out there in his Crocs at this stage.
Oh yeah, hope not to see that. But here we go. So it's going to be so we got that coming up next, Brisbane Burners. So stay tuned to watch that game. But now we're going to see the start of this run chase from Lucknow Tigers against Sydney Storm. This could be a very exciting one here. It could go either way. I feel that this is going to be dictated in how the first 4 or 5 overs go. We've got Mick McGrath opening the bowling for Sydney Storm. First one just short of a length on the offside, out to Gus Sloan at deep backward point. So if we look at the field that Sydney Storm have got set at the moment, they're playing the power play, which you can do in the first 4 overs of an LMS innings and the last 2 overs, 19 and 20. So they've got 4 on the offside here, Sydney Storm. They've got a very straight long off. They've got a cover. Well, now it's a mid-wicket, so that's changed everything. But they're still doing pretty much the same. So they've got the straight long off. They've got a cover in on the single, a deep point, orthodox third man, deep backward square leg, and a deep mid-wicket. Big appeal there, Mick McGrath. Well, that's going to do no end for his confidence. You see what it means to the tall Mick McGrath coming into his side. Wicket with his second ball, gets the Lucknow opener, LBW first ball. Well, talk us through that sandwich. I'm sure we're going to see a replay in a moment, but that'll do Mick McGrath pretty well, so that'll do no end of good for his confidence.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, that's potentially one-dimensional bowling lineup that they've got. If they get their lines right, which Mick straight off the bat, first ball to the left-hander, swinging into that middle and off stump, I'd say, or swing off to middle, from what I could see, and obviously came away with the wicket. So he's, Mick's going to be hitting his line, and you can see that Ziad's backing his bowler with the field that he sets.
Here. Beautiful swing. May have been slipping down leg there, judging by the replay, but it could have been clipping. We don't have the
umpire's call. We'll say umpire's call.
I'm going with just clipping leg there, but you can just see that hoop back in. That will be a huge positive for Mick McGrath and these Sydney seam bowlers. Seeing that earlier, so poor Eamon Ahmed goes for LBW. His first delivery. Be disappointed with that. 1-for-1 Lucknow Tigers. So early pressure on them, and Mick McGrath will be cock a hoop.
Yeah, real good start there. And as you were talking about the field, I think that'll probably be, again, a big thing. We're setting the LMS field. So that short attacking field that Ziad's got there, and then he's covered the singles, basically. So if Mick bowls his right lines, should hopefully restrict them to that under 30 we were talking about in the first 5
You think
overs.
now the outswing to the right-hander should help here? Or too much outswing there, was it? Or he's got away with that?
That's very generous, but no.
Nope.
No, okay, and it's
Bit of
fair.
thought about it.
Completely fair. I think Mick's a bit shocked there, but
more probably about the late call than anything else, I think. Trying to explain that he's swinging the ball out. Let's see how he responds to that. Almost the perfect kind of delivery. Wide outside off stump with the outswing. Oh, full toss, and that goes down to third man, and that just shows the difference, right? Because Storm have the third man. Bit of a fumble in the deep, and really gifted Lucknow Tigers a second run there, which is not what the Storm need to be doing.
No, and it's you don't want to be setting a field for that bad ball, but the field that Ziad's got is to have that line and length outside off and just let them get the singles and restrict them to that 30 in the first 4 or 5 overs.
So here we go, McGrath comes in again.
Oh,
that is the fine one. Say third man wasn't fine enough, so yet another third man boundary in this game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone employs a slip early on, to be honest, especially with the way Mick's bowling. You could potentially do it, but I think Ziad's trying to restrict to those singles and not give away runs. But as we've seen in both innings now already, 4's down that. It is in the V technically, if you want to give the batsman some credit.
Well, it's been an all-action first over here, Sam. This is the last delivery of it. We've seen a wicket. We've seen the edge through. We've seen a misfield. It's all happening. What's it going to finish on? A great first over here of the run chase.
Nice little push there, and Ziad wanting to give the single, I guess.
Seemed
drop
like
back
it.
that short cover.
Interesting that he did decide to drop back the short cover to the deep, but so anyway, second over. Who are we going to have coming on to bowl now? Looks like
That's a good question.
confusion reigning. It's a bit of a difficult commentary spot here to quite see all the field. We're limited to about 70% of.
I've got Vikrant, is it?
Here we go. So Vikrant Nehru, the star of the first innings, with his 53, featuring 4 sixes, opening the batting for Sydney Storm, 24-year-old. Another seam bowler. It was good chatting to Vikrant earlier.
So
Obviously knows his cricket.
He's playing grade cricket in Sydney, is he?
I don't actually know, to be honest. I know that the young player, Sadeep Deepak, is playing grade cricket there. I'm sure Vikrant is playing grade. I'll have to confirm that later on the comms. But let's see what Vikrant Nehru's got here. Lovely lines first up, bit of in swing, just a little bit too wide. That one looked a bit harsh, but the lines are pretty tightly in.
Yeah, I mean, Ziad, I don't think he'd be too worried about that because he is bowling to the field that he wants. Obviously, if he can get that just inside that wide line, he's got a deep point and a short cover, so Vikrant hopefully gets back on track there, yep.
And as we said, the same power play field with 4 on the offside here. The only guy in on the offside is the cover, which is the captain, Ziad Abbas. So only 2 fielders on the leg side. So a lot of pressure on the bowlers not to stray onto the stumps or the pads. Good ball there from Nehru. That one was pretty wide. And again, another wide. So second wide in the over won't be re-bowled in LMS. Maximum of 6 deliveries in the over, so that one worth 3. And those runs going to the batsman, so helping Akshay Upadhyay move on to 12 off 7 balls. Kashif Anwar, the other batsman, 1 off 1. Early confidence for Akshay here.
Well,
that's one of the
definitely
pads.
Well played, and downside to that field that Ziad does have set is when the bowler does get that line a little bit wrong, it's definitely on the bowler to chase those little drops into mid-wicket and be quick into there to make sure they don't push too.
Absolutely. Well, he's looked good so far, Akshay. Composed batsman, and let's see what Kashif Anwar's got. He's faced 1 delivery, he's got 1 so far. Importance on these 2 off the early wicket to really steady the Lucknow ship and get them on track.
Again, that wide line there, obviously trying to bowl to that field, so it's a good thing. Vikrant gets that right. But it does also allow the batsmen to free their arms, so if they do get through these first 2-3 overs and they keep bowling that same line, there'll be that freedom to swing away a bit, and you can see Ziad drop back now. Last ball of the over, so it might be a constant tactic.
So Anwar back down the ground. There's a long off there, so it'll just be a single for him. He moves on to 2 runs, and the Lucknow total 15 for 1 after 2. So completely even Stevens at the moment. Sydney Storm with a early blur of the wicket, but Lucknow batting well so far. And when I just look at the Lucknow lineup, five LMS debutants in the lineup. Eamon Ahmed, who we saw get out first ball, is by far their most experienced player, having played 55 games. Only 2 of the other guys, including the skipper Shariful Islam, who's played 14, and then 18 matches for Mohammed Faisal. So when you look at the amount of matches there, that's about less than 90 matches for the Lucknow Tigers line up between them, as opposed to about 1,750 matches for the Sydney Storm lineup. So huge golf inexperience between the 2 sides here in terms of the LMS format.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly the newer players pick up the double play rules and potentially the steal. The steal is definitely a unique rule that I think a lot of new teams do miss out on, that opportunity to get 2 runs when the striker gets caught.
Do you think that the steal comes into play on a small field like this, or? I mean, if you hit it that high, it's probably going to clear the fence, isn't it? Unless. Yeah,
look, that's a very fair point. Yeah, and I think anything straight is probably definitely going to be some good running there. Yep, good fielding in the deep, and it just shows pushing that first single is going to put a bit of pressure on the fielder. I think, yeah, if you're hitting straight, it's more than likely going to carry, but the corners of the field are a little bit deeper, so there's potentially that chance for a steal.
For a man of your pace as well between the wickets, that shouldn't be an issue.
I've got 1 new hip, so at least one leg's working well.
Here we go, Mick McGrath in for his 9th delivery, or 8th, not very good maths. So, single there, steady.
How was his 9th? He did bowl a wide in the first one.
That's true. I knew it was 9th. I can count his balls. There you go. So he's looking focused there, Mick McGrath. Real blue steel look on his eyes. He's a man on a mission. Confident something's going to happen here after that. Look. Lovely swing there. Goes out. Oh, a little bit airy at the start. Just goes out to Ziad in the deep, who bowls the ball in.
Yeah, look, I think if Ziad had sort of kept that short field, potentially a half chance, but he's also restricted the boundary there, which, you know, may have gotten there. We've got McGrath, the other McGrath in the team at long off, so probably having those extra fielders deep is going to be beneficial to cut off those boundaries.
Just increase the pressure here on the Lucknow run chase. Whoa, it's gone
go.
high there.
Chance for a steal here.
Ziad gets it in the deep, takes it safely back to the bowler's end. The non-striker's got it, he's worked it out, so no double play there for the Lucknow team. It's good to see, but he kept himself pretty still.
Half a chance for a steal there. Half a chance for a steal, but Ziad comfortable with that catch in the end.
Got to make sure the catch first though, right? And he was steady, and there we go. Well, there's that outswing, and you see this. He's not bowl. He can bowl quicker than this, Mick McGrath, but he's just focusing on making sure he gets that swing and the length, and shows the value of it there with the pressure on the Lucknow guys. Having to try and go over extra cover there was pretty ambitious early, Sam.
Yeah, and look, I think that's something that does get overlooked in LMS is your line and length is more important than any kind of pace, especially with the small boundaries or those edges that are going for 4. Mick just bowling the line that he wants with that bit of movement and comes away with the catch there out to Ziad at deep cover.
Especially in new conditions like this. Having said that, I mean, an Indian team by name Lucknow, and they have got some Indian players, but the majority of the side are Bangladeshis.
Okay.
But they would be used to the South Asian conditions, all very new for the Sydney Storm players. So unlucky for Kashif Anwar. Goes for 7 off 7, caught by Ziad Abbas off the bowling of Mick McGrath. And this Shariful Islam comes in to bat now, so he's one of the other players that has got LMS experience in the side.
Is this the skipper as well?
Absolutely. And he looked like a good bowler as well. He's unlucky with his bowling figures. So Vikrant Nehru on for his 2nd over.
Confident start there. Push into the deep cover. I think he's going to potentially feel a bit of weight on his shoulders now to to pull Lucknow out of 2 for 22. But it's like I think we were saying before, under that 30 runs at sort of the 5 over mark. I think they're definitely going to get to that 30 overs. But 30 runs at the 5 over mark. But I'd put Sydney well and truly in front at the moment.
So there we go. We got a bit of a glitch in the streaming scorecard. It's clearly not Ziad Abbas batting. He's the one that took the catch, but we've got Sharaful Islam as the batsman there. And he just
another misfield in the deep, but they still only get the one there, so good recovery.
Yeah, they should have been readier for that. They didn't set off that quick on that first single. I mean, you've really got to be ready to try and maximise those extra potential runs. So Islam gets off the mark, and now Akshay Upadhyay, 15 off 10. On the legs there. Is that going to run all the way to the boundary?
It is a bit unlucky there to get a boundary off the pads there, but attacking the stumps, which is a good thing here from Vikrant.
I'll tell you what, they've...
Oh, that's probably a missed opportunity from the keeper there, not appealing until after the fact. He stepped across in front of middle then.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, always worth an appeal.
That's potentially evens out the first one. The first one we were discussing umpire's call or just taking the leg stump.
So there he comes in again. Just chipped into the covers there. Gus Sloan comes in from deep point to do a tidy job. So 2 wickets down. That's the big figure here is the 2 wickets lost. Otherwise, the Tigers would be delighted with 28 off the first 19 deliveries here, Sam.
Yeah, it's a good start definitely, and if you can have those wickets in the back end, you can put 100 on the last sort of 7 or 8 overs if you can really get going. So yeah, they're definitely well and truly still in it, but 1 or 2 more wickets and they're in a lot more trouble trying to push that, increase that run rate in the last 10 overs.
Just a bye there, I think. Huss taking a couple of deliveries to get used to things out there. Very different conditions for foreign keepers when they come here to India and playing conditions like this. But get going. He's got the confidence of that 50 behind him in the first innings, which helped set up the Sydney Storm total of 159. So 4 overs gone now, 29 for 2.
Yeah, I think it does tend to get a little bit overlooked with a lot of tournaments is how important keeping is. I think the first sort of 2 tournaments I went away with, we didn't really have a recognised keeper, and now we've actually got 3 keepers in this team, so we've gone the opposite. So yeah, it's definitely going to take a bit of time to get used to behind the stumps as well.
Does that mean that you're a bit short of bowlers, you feel, or?
Not short on bowlers. I think we've got definitely 6 blokes that can bowl, but we're going to have to make sure we bowl our lines and lengths and stick to the plan because not every one of us is going to bowl basically. So we just need to make sure we stick to our lines and lengths.
As long as Sam Lang bowls 4 overs, you'll be all right there.
Captain's prerogative.
So Mick McGrath on for his 3rd over here. Oh, there we go. Clever little shot there. Does the little ramp and this big gap out there. So he saw, basically there's the deep square leg. So he saw the gap and he really manufactured that shot out of nothing here, Sam. This was clever.
Oh, that is, yeah, well outside off, and he's flicked that down to fine leg. And that's just good game management, knowing where the field is. And Ziad's still backing his bowler here, hasn't changed the field.
He looks like a class act, this Akshay Upadhyay. Moves on to 20 off 13 balls. That's just the way that Mick McGrath needed to respond there. But Akshay, he's been helped out with a few wides in that score, but he's shown that he can play around all over the field here, and that was a clever improvised shot. So it's the end of the power play now, given that it's into the 5th over.
Yeah, and Ziad's still backing the bowler here to that sort of outside off line, and unfortunately strayed a bit down leg, but got away with it there.
Needed that to swing back.
So yeah, he's got his very fine 3rd man, deep point, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, and then a square leg. So he's backing the bowler to not let anything go down to fine leg.
Good ball there from McGrath. They're going to cut just a single there.
Yeah, 2 fielders conversion that very, very quickly there. So good pressure from the field to make sure that
so it's a great spell so far here from Mick McGrath. 2.4 overs, 2 for 22 so far.
And it'd be interesting to see Ziad's plans here, whether he bowls each bowler out straight or he keeps one in reserve for the back.
Lovely shot there out to covers, but they'll only get 1 for that. It goes out to Gus Sloan in the deep. So that brings an end to the 5th over, 37 for 2 Lucknow Tigers. I'll talk you through the scorecard a bit, just because at the moment a couple of glitches are meaning that we have Ziad Abbas at the crease, who's clearly not at the crease. It's Shariful Islam, who's 3 off 4. Akshay Upadhyay, 22 off 16 balls. He's looked really good so far, and that brings an end to Mick McGrath's 3rd over with the great figures for him. 2 for 23 of his 3 overs. He's really done his job. I wonder if that will be the last we see of Mick McGrath.
I think for now, yeah, he'll probably come back on in the death overs there, bowl one of the last 3 overs, I'd say. I think Ziad will get through a couple of overs from his other bowlers and make sure he's always got options.
And on that note, Sammy Lang's got to go and do his fitness trainings and warm up with his Brisbane Burners side, get them all ready for the next game. We look forward to seeing you out there, Sam. True LMS legend, thanks for joining us.
That's all right, happy to, and looking forward for the Burners to get a win off the first game.
Absolutely, good luck with your
Cheers,
game. Now we've got Andy Percy coming back into the commentary box to join me. So Andy, we've got Sadeep Deepak bowling now.
Yeah, really excited to see our young gun. First time he's played a big LMS tournament like this, so he's our under-22 player. Plays in Western Sydney, and he also plays club cricket. He's playing grade with Ramwick Petersham, plays in the 2nds and 3rds.
On the grade note, Sam asked the question, does Vikram Nehru play grade cricket?
He does. Actually, it's around Parramatta, but I'm not sure who with.
Okay. Class that. For those of you not in the know, grade cricket in Australia is the higher level of club cricket there before you start entering the state circuit.
That's excellent fielding there for Gus Sloan. Just really had to chase that down to stop the boundary.
There we go. So down deep, they'll just pick up the single there. No major urgency with that running.
Oh, so a bit unlucky there for Sadeep. So 4 runs there down the leg side. There's been a lot of runs going behind the keeper. That not one that Huss could have stopped, but just shows a few of these quicker bowlers. There's plenty of runs to be had there. So, yeah, nothing Huss could do about that. So last ball of Sadeep Deepak's first over here. So 10 runs from Sadeep Deepak's first over. And so Lucknow Tigers, they're going really well. They're in front of where the Sydney Storm were runs-wise, but Sydney Storm hadn't lost any wickets at this stage. So we've got Akshay Upadhyay, who is 25 off 18, and Shariful is 10 off 8. So got a little partnership here going after first ball of the innings. There was a golden duck, and the other opener, Kashif, he went 7 off 7. So a really important partnership here now building for Lucknow Tigers. And so the Sydney Storm skipper, Ziad Abbas, one of the most famous players in LMS, very popular man right around the world, has decided he'll bring himself on for a bowl here. So plenty of bowling options for the Sydney Storm. Still haven't seen Brad McGrath, James Chauffeur, Gus Sloan. All very good options. And Hassan Jazi, the keeper as well, can bowl, but he's I'd say he'll have the gloves for the duration. excellent shot there from the Lucknow Tigers, not giving Ziad Abbas a chance to settle in. Bit of a pressure reliever for Shariful too. He's moves on to 14 off 9, so it's now starting to become quite a good innings there. His second boundary, and brings up the 50 for Lucknow Tigers.
Alright, just back again here. Andy, our technology experts are rebooting a few things just to try and help bring you the live scorecard. But we'll keep talking you through it. At the moment, Akshay Upadhyay is the correct score there, 25 of 18, and Shariful Islam has had a good start to his innings here. Moves on to 15 off 10 with that single. Ziad Abbas, the bowler, 2 deliveries bowled, none for 5. Bowling figures so far, Mick McGrath with a great opening spell, 2 for 23, 2 massive early wickets off his 3 overs. Vikrant Nehru very tight for his 2 overs, 2 overs, none for 9. Sadeep Deepak, 1 over, none for 10. Akshay and Shariful at the crease now. Akshay moves on 26 off 19 balls. Score now 53 for 2 off 6.3 overs. So the run rate is not an issue in the slightest, Andy, which will be a concern to Sydney Storm. But would you still feel confident if you're Ziad and the Storm players?
Chance for a run out, but good running there. Yeah, it's pretty evenly poised at the moment because of the couple of wickets here. So the Sydney Storm probably need to break this partnership soon. Both batsmen now well set after a couple of early wickets.
So Shariful Islam 17 off 11, Akshay 26 off 19, scores 55 for 2 after 6.4 overs. Just bunted into the offside there, so that's just a single to bring to an end the 7th over. 56 for 2 after 7 overs. So it's really, I'd say almost even Stevens. I'd say if Sydney Storm had a 3rd wicket here, I'd say it's even Stevens. But at the moment, I'd say Lucknow Tigers are on top. But then we did see at the turn of ends, Sydney Storm really struggled with those second 10 overs. But I was thinking that was more just to the new batsman coming in, wasn't it, Andy, rather than anything playing differently?
Potentially. I spoke to Hassan Jazi, so he got quite a few overs from each ends, opening the batting there for the Sydney Storm, and he said they both played fairly similarly. He didn't think that one side was particularly easier for
And when you look at his innings, he scored a lot of his quick runs from when they switched ends as well, but he obviously had his eye in there. So that would suggest that it is playing well, which will put the good deal of confidence into the Tigers, especially with these guys. They're looking really good, Shariful and Akshay, and they've still got plenty of runs to go before one of them has to retire. So
absolutely, we've got so Gus Sloan's coming on for his first over now. So it looks like we're bowling in a 3-man rotation here. He's much improved bowler, Gus, no more as a batsman early on in his LMS career, but it's bowling very well in recent years.
Absolutely, I'd say this is the next 2 overs. I think are pretty big in this game. You just sense that the Tigers have really got the grip of the game at the moment. Storm needs to pull them back. A wicket would be massive, or at least get a few dot balls going again. Just all seems a bit easy at the moment.
I think that might be why Ziad's brought Gus on, because he often gets a wicket in his first over and has a bit of that extra pace. So I think Sadeep and Ziad were probably a little bit more expensive in their first over each than they would have liked. So they've gone to Gus here to try and break this partnership.
So 2 balls left in Gus's first over. Akshay on strike, 26 off 20. And I'm delighted that our technical experts really do a great job. All these guys have managed to sort out the scorecard online, so you can actually look on your screens now and see the up-to-date scorecard. So thank you to our technical team for sorting that out so quickly. Score now 60 for 2 after 7.3. Gus Sloan, what have you got for us? Goes out to deep cover. They come round. They'll get 2 there, won't they? Yep, they'll come back for 2. So Sydney Storm will be desperate for a wicket here. This is a really great partnership here to recover after those early 2 wickets and just keep the scoreboard ticking pretty quickly. Gus Sloan, last ball of his first over. Oh, there we go. Ramp shot straight over the keeper. Straight enough that the 3rd man can't come round for it. And no, that's the second time we've seen Akshay play that ramp shot, both to very different areas of the pitch. Let's look at this replay. Look, gets into well, he doesn't even get into position early. He just reacts quickly.
Oh, wow.
Well, very different to his first ramp shot. That was more of a reaction one, but it still got him 4 runs behind the keeper. Well, he's a dangerous man, this Akshay Upadhyay. 33 off 23 balls. He's got 3 boundaries so far. He's looking like the player.
And that's another very good over for Lucknow Tigers. 10 runs off it. So starting to get a little bit expensive here for the Sydney Storm.
Absolutely. Wicket key, and you got the captain to come on and bowl here. So if ever you need a captain's wicket, it's this one. And Akshay Upadhyay seems to be the player you want to get. He's in full flow now. Just shows the difference, doesn't it? They haven't I mean, we're not at the 10 over mark yet, but they are slightly ahead of where Sydney Storm were at this stage. Sydney Storm had a flurry of 6s around this stage through Vikrant Nehru. But it just shows sometimes you don't need those 6s if you're just keeping it ticking and getting the 2s. And then another 2 there, you know, these 2s add up. When you eliminate the dot balls, there really hasn't been many dot balls this innings. That's a big difference.
Big difference. And they have been quite good at running that first one hard and turning into 2s. So, yeah, good innings that they're now putting together, the Lucknow Tigers. I think it was, if I remember correctly, the Storm were about 76 at the
76 at the turn.
Yeah.
So Lucknow slightly ahead. I think they just really need a wicket here, Sydney Storm, in the next over or 2, just to get a new batsman in. Just try and get a few dots against them, or put a few doubts in the minds of the Tiger batsmen. Well, there's a dot ball. Rare.
Good slower ball there from Ziad
Absolutely.
Abbas.
So a rare 2 dot balls in a row. So Ziad Abbas come on as the skipper here, and he's done just what Sydney Storm needed. Just trying to check that run rate, get a bit more confidence back in his troops. 2 runs off the first 3 balls of delivery. Well, does 2 dots breed a wicket? What is Shariful Islam going to do here?
Oh,
again through to the keeper. Big appeal. 3 dot balls in a row. What kind of finds that, Mr. Percy?
Oh, it's been an excellent comeback from Ziad. He went for a 4 on his first delivery. He's gone for 7 runs off his next 8. So excellent comeback from Ziad. Looks to finish off his second over well.
Just into the leg side there. They're only going to get the single off that one. So brings an end to a fine over from Ziad Abbas. 2 overs, none for 12 for him now. Shariful Islam 22 off 19 and Akshay Upadhyay 33 off 23. The score's 69 for 2 after 9 overs. Almost exactly the same score as what Sydney Storm had at around this stage. They were 76 after 10. They hadn't lost any wickets, but these 2 guys are looking really good. They've recovered so well after Iman Ahmed's earlier first baller to Mick McGrath, and Kashif Anwar going for just 7 runs. So they really needed this partnership between these 2 to take them to 69 for 2. Who have we got now then, Andy Percy?
So Gus is coming back on here, so it looks like they're going to save Sadeep for a bit later. So Gus coming on for his second over. He went for 8 runs. There are a couple of byes as well in that over, so it was 10 off his last. And that's going to be a
wide outside off some. That'll be disappointing for Gus. So if we talk you through the field here, we've got the orthodox long on, then we've got a deep mid wicket, then we've got a backward square leg, a fine third man, point 3/4 of the way to the boundary, and then a relatively wide long off. So that'll just be a single out there, back to deep backward square leg. So no more power play available until the last 2 overs of the innings. We saw Ziad playing that earlier. A reminder that the power play is you can have more than 3 fielders on each side of the wicket. Happens in the first 4 overs of an LMS innings and the last 2 overs. But we could be on for a thriller here if there's another tight over. That is a chance, and he's given. That looked good as soon as he bowled it. He bowled from a relatively wide angle, and it just seemed to hit him on off.
And that's the big wicket. That's the one the Sydney Storm are really after. So end of an excellent innings for Akshay. He ended up on 33 off his 24 deliveries. Hit 3 boundaries. So a really good partnership there from the number 3 and 4 bats, and they'll be needing, the Lucknow Tigers will need Shariful to continue on with it. He's currently 24 off 21. Got going the last couple of overs before Ziad bowled a few dots to him in the last. So really big turning point now for the Sydney Storm as they look to tighten up the bowling.
Massive wicket there from Gus Sloan. Needed to happen. We called it. On Lucknow Tigers in response. There we just see the pop-up logo there of the Sydney Storm team sponsors, Structural Grazing Group. So thanks again to SGG for their backing of the team in this tournament. Let's see Gus Sloan, what's he got up against Sharma? Lovely first shot there. Dipanshu Sharma out to backward point for 2 and easy run 2. There you go. Seems to be a bit of a difference here, that ease with the Tigers players being able to run a lot of these 2s, Andy, which is quite surprising because the Storm players did seem to set off really quick on the first of theirs. Maybe the Tigers players were just very quick in the field.
Yeah,
just really add up.
Feels like they've run more 2s, you're right. So a bit of a misfield, that'll bring on 2.
Just add up. The comparison between dot balls and 2s is huge, and you know, we saw a lot of dot balls in the Sydney Storm innings.
We did.
And not a lot of 2s.
No.
And we haven't seen many dot balls in this innings. I mean, I don't have the stats. Actually, what I'll do, let's have a look at what we got. So at this stage in the almost, well, let's just get through to this 10th and talk through this in the drinks break. So I've lost my fellow commentator as he goes to be the drinks carrier. But I'm delighted that we have Rifat is back again. Welcome back, Rifat. So it's 10 overs now, 76 for 3 in the Sydney Storm innings. They were 76 for none at the 10 over mark. So both teams on exactly the same amount of runs after 10 overs. You know these players, you know some of these guys. Akshay Upadhyay looked like a terrific player there, but I think he's new to LMS. Shariful Islam's also looked really good out there, 24-21, he's well set. What's your take here?
So I think it's pretty even at this stage. I think it's anybody's game. Shariful Islam will be the key. He's in very good form recently, and as I was mentioning, he was the player of the tournament at the World Champs.
So he's also the captain and the team owner?
Yeah, and he's not the team owner, he's just the captain.
Okay.
So, yeah, Shariful Sheikh, he's batting on 24 of 21. So, Lucknow need him to get to his 50.
That's crucial. We were saying how crucial the partnership was before Akshay got out there. LBW Tigers were looking really good there to have recovered from the 2 early wickets. He played some wonderful shots there, Akshay Upadhyay.
I know a few other batsmen who's yet to bat. Latif Bappi is yet to come. He's a decent batsman. Isak, the lefty spinner, who bowled earlier, he was also a very decent bat. So there's still plenty of batting to come. And 84 of 10 overs, I think it's pretty even at this stage.
We were saying it's a massive contrast in experience between these two sides, with only about 90 LMS caps across the Lucknow Tigers side, as opposed to about 1,800 LMS caps. Let's talk through the scorecard here, the bowling scorecard. So 2 for 23, Mick McGrath with those 2 early wickets.
The best bowler so far. I was speaking to Imon Ahmed, who got out on the first ball against him, and he thought that was a brilliant delivery. it had a leg swing in the air that got him out, and I was looking at him from the ground from near close by, and he bowled a brilliant spell, picked up 2 crucial wickets. Gus picked up the other wicket. So yeah, so I assume they don't have a 6th bowler. This 5 will bowl out.
They'll probably have a 6th bowler. Let's see who that'll probably be. Who's not bowled? So there's James Chauffeur. No, yeah, you're probably just going to be these 5, to be honest, because Huss Hijazi keeping, he can bowl spin, so it'll be whether they feel like they need the spin option, then Huss will come out from behind the stumps. And sorry, I forgot about, of course, Brad McGrath. So Brad McGrath will bowl for sure. So they have got a 6th bowling option that they haven't used yet. So Brad McGrath is the 6th bowler they haven't used yet, Rifat, and he's a very experienced and successful LMS all-rounder. So this is the young player on the side, the 20-year-old Sadeep Deepak, who plays grade cricket for Randwick Petersham. Just a single there. He's looked good so far, Deepak. He may have gone for 10 in the first over, but he's got a very smooth, nice bowling technique. This Dipanshu Sharma, he looked the goods with that first shot he played out to deep cover, so certainly looks like a good player, this Sharma. Just what Shariful Islam needs to help steady the ship again now after that 3rd wicket. So how many of this side, Rifat, are Bangladeshi and how many Indian, do you know?
There are 4 Bangladeshi in this side and 4 Indian.
Okay. And for some of the guys, will it be the first time they're meeting, or are they would all know each other?
They are used to playing in the Dhaka League together.
Okay.
So they will know each other well. But obviously the Indian players are new. There are like 4 players are making their debut today. So they need to adjust to the team.
They look like a talented side. It's always difficult playing your first game of last man stands, getting used to the game situation and fielding, but Shariful, the skipper's obviously played before. Wide outside off stump there to the left-handed Sharma. Out to Gus Sloan in the deep, just a single, and that's what the Storm have to do now. They have to cut off these 2s and try and restrict the 2s to singles, because it's been a bit too easy for the Tigers to get 2s so far.
Absolutely. So the Tigers haven't hit too many boundaries, but they have been taking, you can see last 10 balls, no dot. They have they haven't got any boundaries, but they've taken a few doubles and singles.
Well, that's been really the story of the whole innings. There was one Ziad Abbas over where there were a few dots, but outside of that 1 over, the Tigers have got singles or 2s pretty much every ball of this innings. So the comparison in boundaries, Akshay hit 3 4s, Shariful Islam's hit 2, but then you look at the comparison to the Sydney team. The Sydney team had 10 4s and 6 6s. So a huge boundary and 6 comparison. That goes out to the deep, straight to Brad McGrath, who takes it well in the deep. He had to watch that, and he fell with the ball. Dipanshu Sharma had been looking very good there. Started very solidly, looked like a classy batsman, and that's another big wicket there. Sadeep Deepak takes his first wicket for the Sydney Storm to end a great second over for him there. Just 4 runs off it and a wicket. So 11 overs. 80 for 4. Let's watch this replay here, Rifat. Tried to hit it over, extra cover out to the deep. Brad McGrath held it well there. Short little cameo there from Sadeep, from Sharma. He'd looked good, but another important wicket. So 2 catches in deep today for Sydney Storm, and they've held their nerve. And straight after taking the catch, where he's got the confidence, Brad McGrath, big Brad McGrath comes on to bowl. Big hitting all-rounder. One of the LMS legends in this side. There's 3 official LMS legends in this Sydney Storm side, and Brad McGrath's one of them. Many of you at home will have seen him succeed at Australia champs and the last world champs in Sydney in the past. Originally a Kiwi. He's lived in Sydney for a while now. Terrific fellow. And again, as we mentioned earlier, the affiliate of the club's, well, the side sponsor, Structural Grazing Group. So thank you again to Structural Glazing Group for their support of this Sydney team and for Brad in this tournament. Let's see what he's got for them here. Bit on the legs first up, and they're gonna come back for the second. That's the other good running again. They try and take the bowler's end. Not taken as cleanly as he'd like. There's an appeal that goes up there. He must have got back, but the striking batsman went really quick, while the non-striker was very slow on that. So shouldn't have been any chance of a run out there. That should have been easy to, but a real slow turn from the non-striker. So Brad McGrath with his second delivery. Goes up in the air. Where has that gone? It's gone all the way over long off. Big hit there for the Tigers. Wow. Very impressive shot there, and that shows the intent now. That will really put the pressure on Brad McGrath. Second delivery, belted back over his head for 6. He's more used to doing that to bowlers himself. Well, this is a real captain's knock here from Shariful Islam. Excellent stuff. Moves to 35 off 26. So 89 for 4 after 11.3. How can Brad McGrath respond to that 6? You sense this is a big couple of balls here to the new batsman. But I've been really impressed with Shariful here, Rifat. I mean, under pressure, he's come in, early wickets, captain of the side. With that 6, he's moved on to 35 off 26. This is a captain's knock if ever you needed it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from Shariful. And I think this partnership will be the key. Mohammad Faisal Latif is a very good batsman.
And these are 2 of the experienced LMS players in the side, you were saying?
They're 2 of the most experienced players in the team. Faisal Latif is usually a top order batsman.
So McGrath, last ball of his over. Oh, behind on the legs, and that's gone down to fine legs. So he'll be disappointed with that. Brad McGrath, but a wonderful shot from Shariful Islam. Let's look at this again. He got himself into position well. He almost premeditated it, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's a big over for the Tigers. 14 coming off this over.
That's the big over that the Tigers needed to get their confidence back after the loss of the 4th wicket. The loss of Akshay, who was looking really good. So Brad will be disappointed with that. I'm sure he'll come back very strongly the next over.
66 to win of 40 balls. That is 8 overs.
So you'd say that it's well and truly in the Tigers' cause at the moment, unless Storm can get Shariful Islam out. He's a big wicket.
I think it's still a wicket or 2, and you know, like after 11 runs, Shariful has to retire, so that might be a crucial juncture of the game.
And then you just got to not get the wickets, don't you, Rifat? Depending on how strong the lower order batsmen are. So Islam 39 off 27. What has Ziad Abbas, the Sydney Storm captain, got for us here? 12.1 overs, 95 for 4. Well bowled.
Shariful Islam, I've been really impressed with his batting so far. He's been playing every ball to its merits. He's dispatching the bad balls and taking singles and doubles off the good ones, and I've hardly seen him playing any dot balls so far. So that's the key.
It's been an excellent innings, especially under the pressure he came in. 2 after the early loss of the wickets. More runs through third man. It's been the story of this game, Rifat.
Yeah.
Don't know how many it would be. 50 runs they've gone through third man or fine leg in this game so far.
Yeah, the Tigers got a few as well. The Storm team got a few as well earlier.
There we go. So 12.3 overs now. The 100 is up. Mohammad Faisal's looked comfortable since coming in. He's looked good with those 2 shots as well. It wasn't really an edge down to third man there. It was almost like he guided it.
So do you know who the other 2 teams are in this group?
Good question. Let's have a look. Just bring up the group table for you. So last ball in the over, just an easy single into the offside. Shariful Islam moves on to 41. off 29 balls. Score is 102 for 4 after 13 overs.
So the other two teams are in this group are Kochi B8 and Air Panthers. Kochi B had a very strong outing in the first game. They beat Air Panthers by 6 wickets, and they chased down the 78 target in 11 overs, so win with a bonus point. So Kochi B looks like a very strong side.
I don't think we'll be seeing a bonus point win in this game.
I don't think there is a bonus point win in this game.
So a reminder that the bonus...
Lucknow Tigers, I don't really think that's possible. 58 of 2.4 overs. But
well, even Sydney Storm, you know, the amount of runs needed. Basically, bonus point win.
That's a very good shot from Shariful. What a shot. That went like a rocket. There was a fielder at wide long off, and it went about 5 yards to his right, but he had no chance there.
It's a wonderful innings here. 45 off 30 now for Shariful, so he's just one hit away, a big hit. Has Sadiq Deepak got another wicket in him? If you can get this man out, that would be a massive wicket. Just chipped back over the bowler's head. Leading edge. Shariful moves on to 46 off 31 now. So Sadiq Deepak, decent bowling figures so far. Just have a quick look at that replay. Yeah, just a leading edge. Unlucky there. Angled in at his pads. Deepak comes in again. That one keeps a bit low. Down a square leg. They just jog through the single. No 2 on there. Score is now 108 for 4 after 13.3. 52 required off 32 balls. Really got to dry out the runs here, Sydney Storm, to bring themselves back into this game, which just has ebbed and flowed this whole innings. Good ball there from Deepak. He's bowled well. 2.4 overs, 1 for 20 so far. Needs to finish this over tightly.
Very rare dot deliveries. I think the first one we have seen in a while. So Shariful is at 46. It's very crucial that he gets to his 50 for his side. Sydney Storm need to get him.
Goes down the ground, back over his head. That is a wonderful innings there from Shariful Islam. 50 off 33 balls and a great shot to finish. He's hardly put a ball, well, hardly put a shot wrong at all there, Rifat. That is a real classic exhibition of good LMS play. Picking the gaps, running the 2s hard, and getting the occasional boundaries. Excellent innings.
Yeah, and you can see why he was the player of the tournament at the biggest stage of the whole. The last month of World Championship, he batted brilliant. I think he only got out in the final. He was unbeaten throughout the whole tournament, and he's a very handy off spinner as well.
Absolutely, he's very unlucky not to get wickets today. So well played, Shariful. 50 off 33 balls, and Sydney Storm will be happy to see the back of him. And now they'll just be hoping that these guys aren't sloggers at the end here, Rifat, because they don't want to see Shariful coming back in. They just want to put the pressure on these batsmen and hope that they can slow this run rate, because at the moment you'd say that Tigers are relatively cruising towards their victory target here. 30 balls left, 48 required.
I think with Shariful now retired, I think they have got this insurance policy, the winning batsman, that their best batsman is still out there. Gives, from what I've seen it too often, that if a batsman gets out before getting his 50 in the 40s, it often have impact on the remaining batsmen. But if you can get to 50 and retire, it gives the remaining batsmen so much more confidence.
And we've got Mick McGrath back onto bowl now, so he got the early 2 wickets, including the opener Iman Ahmed for a golden duck. He'll be disappointed with the first delivery there, wide down the leg side. Didn't hoop back in like some of his early deliveries did. See what he's got second ball, much more on the pads. But there's no one there, so that's 4 runs down a fine leg. So Mick McGrath drifting onto the pads there, runs away to the boundary.
Faisal was eyeing that gap between the delivery, and he played it really nicely.
Absolutely, he just not really set up with the field for bowling that straight.
He knew what he was doing. Was proper use of the field there.
They've done very well, these Lucknow Tigers batsmen, to move around the crease and respond quickly to different lines of the Sydney Storm bowlers. Back over the bowler's head. It's just going to be the single there to long off. Now the sun's coming out a bit, Rifat. I think this next game for the Brisbane Burners and other Australian sides going to be a very hot game here today. In Delhi, it's been a nice cool morning so far, but it's beginning to heat up now. 28 balls left, 42 runs needed. What has Mick McGrath got? Well bowled, wide outside off stump, and just a single there to pull them back a bit. He'll be desperate for a third wicket here, Mick McGrath. It's been a great spell so far. Can he finish it well? Match really in the balance at the moment with the retirement of Shariful Islam. Out deep again, another easy single. One ball left of the Mick McGrath spell. Mohamed Ishaq is in there now as well, about to face his second delivery. He looked class act with his left arm bowling. Gets a lot of revs on the ball. Here we go. So 26 balls left, 40 needed. How can Mick McGrath finish? Can he get a third wicket? Beautiful shot out to the deep. They're not going to come back for the second, so just a single there.
That's poor running by Ishaq. He thought he was going for boundary. His partner is not too happy with his effort there. Should have tried for a second. So very good spell by Mick McGrath. He bowled brilliantly, I thought.
So 15 overs, 121 for 4. So Sydney Storm have got the wickets, but can they stop the runs? Really good run chase so far from the Tigers in terms of just pushing almost every ball for a single and turning a lot into twos. And then being somewhat unorthodox with some of their shots to be able to manufacture boundaries unexpectedly, but they've really used the gaps in the field well. They look like a class act, this Tigers side. So we've got Vikrant Nehru back onto bowl now. He bowled as one of the openers. 2 overs, none for 9. Good first delivery outside off stump, just a single there. Every ball crucial here now. So 38 needed to win off 24 balls. The countdown begins well and truly. A 6 would be massive in these next couple of overs. So Sydney Storm will just be desperate to be trying to restrict the Tigers players to ones as much as possible. Wickets less important at this stage. That's the one down to fine leg, and again to the vacant fine leg region. Anything on the pads down there with these batsmen, and Mohamed Faisal Lati showed that before, how quickly he is just to step across and steer it down to that fine leg region. Excellent shot once again.
He moves out to 19 with in just 10 deliveries, 190 strike rate. As I was saying, I know I have seen him a lot. He's a very decent batsman. Wastes no time to get going, and he's not even trying to slog them. He's just playing clever shots.
How can Nehru respond? Oh, lovely stuff. Well, it's a rare dot ball there. We haven't seen many dot balls in this innings from the Tigers, but excellent response there from Nehru. Foot outside off stump. And just to let you know the field again, it stands backward square leg, deep mid-wicket, straightish long on and long off, deep cover point, and then a wide third man. Everyone on the boundary here, Sydney Storm desperately trying to restrict these runs. Well, there you go. That was too fine for the third man, and more runs go down through that third man region. So 8 runs off the 3 deliveries in this over. Tide well and truly turned for Tigers now, I'd say, Rifat. There we go. Third man couldn't get anywhere close to that. That's the difficulty. Bowl on the pads, and Mohamed Faisal Lati will whip you down a fine leg, but then when it's outside off, you run that risk as well. Slower ball there. Lovely change up from Nehru. Clever bowling. That's the end of the 16th over. 9 runs from the over. 130 for 4 the score. So here we are. 30 needed off the last 20 balls. We've got a thriller on here at Ballpark between Sydney Storm and Lucknow Tigers. Just 30 needed, last 20 balls. Required run rate in over just 7.5 and over now. Vikram Neri, 3 overs, none for 18. Mick McGrath has had his spell, 4 overs, 2 for 32. And then Gus Sloan coming back on. He got a crucial LBW wicket earlier. Can he get another crucial wicket here? Mohammad Ishaq on strike and Mohammad Faisal Latif looking excellent. 23 off 13 balls, including 4 boundaries so far.
They should chase it down from here.
You know what it's like, Rifat. 1 wicket if they lose Mohammad Faisal. Just a single there. It's a lovely cricket ground here, Ballpark. Little sports centre, good training facilities out the back. Nice little clubhouse and canteen. Excellent place to play LMS cricket. So, the star of the moment, Mohammad Faisal Lati, 23 off 13. This is the big wicket you sense. If Gus Sloan can get him out, Storm are back in the game. Wow, he's hit that well.
That's in the gap. Will it go down? No, it slowed down a bit.
Just like that. So they're going to get another 2 there.
They're getting 2s.
25 off 14 balls. This is a really, really good knock here from Mohammad Faisal Lati to support his skipper, Sharaful Islam Shaikot, who got 50 off 33 balls. On the pads again. Hit it hard, but it's well fielded in the deep. They'll just get the single. Excellent fielding out there. So 17 balls left, 26 needed. The match on a knife edge, just 4 runs scored off the last 4 balls. Gus Sloan has started this over very well. Can he follow on? Wide outside off. Where's that going? It's just raced down to the boundary. More runs through the 3rd man region. That's a crucial 4 there. Mohammad Ishaq reached for it, went hard, got the reward there. Good delivery from Gus. Just well played from Ishaq. Freed his arms. And there's a big gap there. 1 ball left in Gus Sloan's over. Goes down to long on. They should just get the 1 here. It's to the field already. Just the 1. Hard back into the bowler.
So 9 of this over. 21 to win of 3. Record run rate just 7 and over.
Still a thriller if could come right down to the wire here. It's a cracking first game at Ballpark of this tournament that we've got.
The next matchup is Mumbai Superstars against the Brisbane Burners.
So what do you know about, well, let's get on to talking about that next in the gap, Rifat. Let's just concentrate on the here and now, but there's a cracking game coming up between the Queensland team and the Mumbai team, one of the biggest cities in the world. So that'll be a great matchup there. So Ziad Abbas, the captain, his last over. What can he do here?
Oh, what a shot. That's a great shot.
Freed up his arms, Ishaq. There we go.
Bit of a short arm jab there.
Well, that's, again, the momentum has shifted. 9 runs off the last 3 balls now. That's not the start to his over Ziad would have wanted. But look at Ishaq. He really reached for it and pulled it across here. Got a loss of that.
Yeah, he made sure it's in the gap.
Well, he's looked good with both bat and ball, this Mohammad Ishaq. So pressure on Sydney Storm now.
That's a big one. Chance of a catch. Oh, but well over the head of the fielder at long on. That should be the game for, I think they are pretty much in control now. Just 11 needed of 13.
That's massive. That's massive there.
So, Rob, I'll leave you to finish the game through, take the game through to
Thanks,
the end.
Rifat. Thanks for your help.
Thanks, Rob.
Well, there you go. Mohammad Ishaq just coming in. 19 off 8 balls, 2 4s and a 6. Straight down the ground again there. Wow. Well, here we go. This guy obviously has class. moves on to 23 off 9 balls now. 3 boundaries and a 6. So, well, they've obviously got strength and depth, the Lucknow Tigers side. Where's that one gone? Out to the deep. 4 runs. Well, it's a big over here now. Ishak has gone hard. Just when the match looked in the balance, he's come and he's hitting this over. The Sydney Storm captain for 4, 6, 4 and 4. Moving on to 27 off 10 balls now, Mohammad Ishak. What has Abbas got? Just a leg by to finish off the body. Well, there we go. So now only 2 runs needed to win off the last 2 overs. So Sydney Storm will be desperately disappointed. They would have backed their bowling attack to have limited the runs here. Ziad's spell comes to an end. 4 overs, none for 38. He and Mick McGrath have bowled out 4 overs, 2 for 32 for Mick McGrath. But the stars of the show have been Shariful Islam Shaikot with 50 off 33. Wonderful innings from Akshay Upadhyay, 33 off 24. And then this late partnership here, Mohammad Faisal Latif and Mohammad Ishak, just turned the game. Gus tries something different. It goes out to deep cover, and that's the game. So well battered to Lucknow Tigers. In the end, making relatively light work of the run chase with that late flurry of runs. It looked like it was going to be a thriller, but then a whole flurry of boundaries at the end by Mohammad Ishak, who ends on 31 off just 12 balls. One to look out for, both with bat and ball. 31 off 12, 5 fours and a 6. And also Mohammad Faisal Latif, 26 off 15 with 4 boundaries, who managed to steady the ship after the loss of Dipanshu Sharma. Well played to the Lucknow Tigers. Solid run chase for them. They didn't get flustered by the loss of those wickets. Just when we look at this scorecard here, wonderful stuff from Shariful Islam Shaikot. He really showed a lot of variability, and he was one of the stars of the world champs in December in South Africa, so he really showed his class today. Akshay Upadhyay, 33 off 24, was looking really good before an excellent delivery from Gus Sloan got him LBW. Mohammad Ishak, brilliant stuff at the end there. Played it all around the ground, really freed his arms. 31 from just 12 balls. With the bowling innings, Mick McGrath, the pick of the bowlers with his 2 wickets early on. Although very tight figures from Vikrant Nehru, none for 18. Deepak also bowled very well, 3 overs, 1 for 24. Gus Sloan, 3.1, picked up a wicket, 1 for 28. And then Ziad Abbas and Brad McGrath, the other 5 overs between them. So Sydney Storm will be desperately disappointed with that, but they showed enough promise to be confident that they can go out and win their next 2 games, get through in 2nd place. But thanks for joining us. In the next match, we've got Mumbai versus Brisbane, so please stay tuned and join us for that shortly.